Chapter 1524. Humanoid Holy Weapon. Chapter 1524. Humanoid Holy Weapon. Qin Yun and Xian Yun are also very shocked. They hastily went over to support the old man. "Grandpa, quickly get up. Why are you kneeling in front of us?" Qin Yun anxiously shouted, and he already guessed that this old man might recognize him in Siekaru's past life. The old man is very excited. Qin Yun and Xian Yun helped him to sit on a chair. "Old ancestor floating cloud, young lady Kiru, what did you come back? Why didn't you come and find me?" The old man said, "Don't tell me you don't recognize me. I'm Old Man Song. You all call me Old Song." Xian Yun shook her head with frown. "Grandpa, did you recognize the wrong person? My name is Xian Yun. You could just call me young lady Xia." Qin Yun is also very surprised. Back then, not only his puppet avatar came in, Siekaru's puppet avatar also came in. "Old Song, I have reincarnated. I don't have the memories of my past life, but I know that my past life was Immortal King Floating Cloud." Qin Yun sighed. "Ah." Old Man Song stood up in shock and looked at Qin Yun. "Old ancestor Floating Cloud, I didn't expect that you would actually die once." Qin Yun said with smile, "Old Song, the current situation is very special. I am also not the Immortal King Floating Cloud from back then. You will always be my old ancestor Floating Cloud. If not for you, I would have died long ago." Old Man Song said, "Did you see? You helped me refine this body. Back then, my body was destroyed and only my soul remained. It was you who protected my soul and then refined this body for me." "Really?" Qin Yun said with smile. "It seems like my past life's level was very poor. My refinement was not good at all." "How is it not good?" "I am very awesome. After so many battles, I am not broken." "Old ancestor, your past life was very awesome, all right." Old Man Song very happily smiled and said, "You finally took that thing from Floating Cloud, Heavenly Mountain. This is very good. This is very good." Xian Yun is listening from the side. She is also very confused now, but she can guess a few things. Old Man Song said again, "Old ancestor Floating Cloud, you taught me inscription technique back then, but I was really too weak. After so many years, I am only an inscription mysterious sect." "All right, Old Song, where's the Great Dragon Sacred Cannon? Is it really that powerful?" asked Qin Yun. "The Great Dragon Sacred Cannon is in Hong Chuangong's hands. You are the one who gave it to our Hong Long Mountain." Old Man Song smiled and said, "I don't know where you got it in your previous life, but it's very useful. It allows us to repel enemies many times, but it consumes a lot of profound saint crystals." Since Qin Yun has the Lion King Cannon, he wants to see if there is anything worth learning from the Great Dragon Sacred Cannon. His Lion King Cannon can't keep up with him anymore. He needs to upgrade it. Sometimes, he needs to use the Lion King Cannon to release his immortal power. But the Lion King Cannon is currently unable to withstand his formidable Tao immortal power, let alone using it. "Grandpa Song, what's Old Hong doing outside?" "He's facing Sect Master Bei Feng, Sect Master Tsang Xian, Li Long Xian, and the baddies of the Xieyong race." Xian Yun said in a low voice. "Will he be all right?" Old Man Song said, "Miss Xia, you don't know that the North Wind Valley and the Tsangshuan sect are a bunch of ungrateful people. If not for Old Ancestor Floating Cloud, their two sects would not have existed. But later on, they often went against Floating Cloud's sect." Qin Yun said with frown, "Old Song, are there any other seniors like you in the Tsangshuan sect and North Wind Valley?" "There are some in North Wind Valley. Back then, he was an elder. His body was also refined by you, just like me." Old Man Song sighed and said, "Back then, I had a conflict with him. I fought with him and then lost contact with him." Xian Yun said in low voice, "Grandpa Song, Big Brother's past life was really awesome. He saved so many people. Isn't that so? Back then, the Great Dragon Desolate Domain was filled with great calamities and many ghost beasts. It was your past life, an old ancestor Floating Cloud, who made this place better." Old Man Song said with smile, "Miss Xia, you are still the same as before. You haven't changed a bit." "Grandpa Song, Old Hong is outside. Should we go out and help him?" Xian Yun is very worried. "All right, let's go out now." Old Man Song said, Evil Yang race and those guys from Inscription World also came? Oomph. These guys wanted to destroy the Great Dragon Desolate Domain back then. Fortunately, we joined hands to stop them. Old song. Is there that mysterious head inside the Death Mountain Evil Forest? How much do you know about that mysterious head? Qin Yun asked. Ancestor Floating Cloud, your puppet avatar back then stayed here for many years in order to search for that head, but it didn't find it. Old Song said. I've also been searching all these years. Is there no progress at all? Qin Yun asked. Of course not. I secretly entered the Death Mountain Evil Forest a few times and made a lot of discoveries. Old Man Song walked towards the door. He wants to go out and see Hong Quan Gang. What discovery? Qin Yun asked. There's a powerful seal inside. The entire Death Mountain Evil Forest is inside that seal. The strange thing is, when you were still here, that Death Mountain Evil Forest didn't exist. It only appeared later. Old Man Song opened the door and let Qin Yun and Xie Ninyan go out first. After Old Man Song came out, he didn't say much about the Death Mountain Evil Forest because there's a middle-aged man standing outside. Great Elder, why did you come out? The middle-aged man said in shock because Old Man Song rarely comes out of this door. I'm going out to see Little Hong. I heard that he is facing a group of enemies alone. I can't let him fight alone, Old Man Song said with a chuckle. The middle-aged man is very respectful towards Old Man Song. What surprised him is that their great elder seems to be very respectful towards Qin Yun and Xian Yun. Old Man Song's body is refined using very strong Saint Tier materials, so it is very powerful and can be preserved for a very long time. As long as his soul is not destroyed and continues to grow stronger, he can live for many years. Old Man Song brought Qin Yun and Xian Yun out of the Great Dragon Mountain and rushed towards the large black ship not far away. After Qin Yun went over, he sensed a remnant aura. It can be seen that a battle just happened here. When Old Man Song arrived, Hong Quan Gang and the other elders and disciples of the Great Dragon Mountain hurriedly bowed respectfully. Even Sect Master Bei Feng and Sect Master Cangshuan walked over and bowed to greet Old Man Song. They are all very surprised that the great Elder Hong Long, who hasn't shown his face for many years, would suddenly appear. It must be said that the great Elder Hong Long died a long time ago. The Great Dragon Mountain has been concealing it all this time to prevent the other two sects from taking advantage of the situation. Because the great Elder Hong Long followed those old ancestors, his seniority is extremely high. Even the people of the North Wind Valley and the Cangshuan sect have to be polite to him. Since the great Elder Hong Long can live for so many years without dying, his strength is also unfathomable. That's why the two sect masters are very respectful to him. Great Elder, why did you come out? Hong Quan Gang asked in a low voice. Miss Xie said that you were besieged, so I came out to take a look. Old Man Song said with a smile. Cangshuan sect, North Wind Valley, you guys are really something. You actually joined forces with external enemies to besiege my Great Dragon Mountain. Great Elder Hong Long, you misunderstand. Sect Master Cangshuan hurriedly explained. We are only sparring. The always cold Sect Master Bei Feng said with a smile. Great Elder Hong Long, please don't misunderstand. We have no intention of besieging the Great Dragon Mountain. Everyone gathered here is just to communicate with each other. Old Man Song looked at Li Longxian and the 100 Xieyang people and coldly snorted. Exchange? Do the scoundrels of the Xieyang race have the qualifications to exchange pointers? Old fart, clean your mouth. A middle-aged Xieyang race man immediately said angrily. I said that you were scoundrels, so what? Old Man Song mocked. You're not convinced? Come and hit me. The middle-aged Xieyang race man wanted to attack, but Sect Master Bei Feng, Sect Master Cangshuan, and Li Longxian hurriedly shook their heads. Facing Old Man Song, even Li Longxian felt a lot of pressure. Li Longxian is from the mysterious Inscription sect. He knows very well why Old Man Song can live for so long. Especially when he saw Old Man Song today, he knew that Old Man Song's body is refined from saint-grade materials. This was a humanoid sacred weapon. If they were to fight, everyone would be at a disadvantage. Sect Master Bayfeng, where is your family's old ox? Is he still alive? Old Man Song asked. Great Elder Neo is still alive and on the way here. To be honest, the main reason we are competing is to divide the Great Dragon Desolate Domain's territory. Sect Master Bayfeng said. Divide the territory? Wasn't it already decided? Old Man Song said with frown. Great Elder Hong Long, my inscription world wants to enter the Great Dragon Desolate Domain. So we also want some territory. Li Longxian said. My Xieyang race will also stay here for a very long time. In order to avoid future conflicts, we also want our own territory. The middle-aged Xieyang raceman said. Hong Quangang said. Because Floating Cloud Sect Master gave Floating Cloud Mountain to us, they feel that we occupy the largest territory, so they are not convinced. Everyone looked at Qin Yun. Qin Yun nodded. I gave Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain and Floating Cloud Sect's territory to Hong Long Mountain. What's wrong with that? Floating Cloud Sect's territory is too big and too vast. Now that Hong Long Mountain has eaten them all, we don't have any territory left. Li Longxian said, You Inscription World people should scram back to where you came from. How can you have territory in the Great Dragon Desolate Domain? Why do you have to come here to fight for territory? Old Man Song nodded and said, Inscription World and Xieyang race indeed don't have the qualifications to come here to fight for territory. You should all scram. Li Longxian chuckled and said, Then you should have a strength to make us scram. We are now calmly and peacefully dividing the territory by exchanging pointers. Isn't this a very peaceful way? Don't tell me that you want to have a great war. Sect Master Tsangxuan sighed and said, Great Elder Hong Long, peace is not easy. If we fight, our local 3 great sects will suffer great losses. Sect Master Bayfeng also nodded and said, Xieyang race and Inscription World can continuously send reinforcements. We can't outlast them. Aren't you looking for that mysterious head? Let me tell you, that head is inside the Death Mountain Evil Forest. Don't fight for territory. Go in and find that mysterious head. Then you can go home. Qin Yun said, Don't try to trick us to go in and throw away our lives. Who doesn't know that it is very dangerous inside? What's more, the Death Mountain Evil Forest was formed later. There is no way that mysterious head can be inside. Li Longxian said in cold voice. Chapter 1525. Soul-burning poison Xieyang race and Li Longxian both believe that the mysterious head is inside the Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain. Therefore, they are certain that Qin Yun is lying to trick them into entering the Death Mountain Evil Forest. Sect Master Fu Yun, you should know what you obtained from the Heavenly Mountain, right? Don't try to trick others into entering the Death Mountain Evil Forest. Sect Master Tsangxuan said, To tell you the truth, I obtained a very large piece of instant space immortal iron inside the Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain. Qin Yun said, and took out the large stone table. Xieyang race's middle-aged man, Li Longxian, Sect Master Bayfeng, and Sect Master Tsangxuan immediately surrounded him. This is indeed a very large piece of instant space immortal iron, and the quality is very good. Li Longxian can tell with a glance. Of course, the most eye-catching thing is the mural on the table. The surface of this table should be a stone slab carved out from the mountain wall. What do you think of from these murals? Qin Yun said, That head is really not in your hands. Li Longxian said with frown, That's impossible. The Death Mountain Evil Forest appeared very late. The head on the mural can fly by itself. Qin Yun said, Then why are you telling us this? Do you want us to go in and investigate? The middle-aged man said, Everyone knows how dangerous the Death Mountain Evil Forest is. 9 out of 10 people will die if they go in. I want to know what use that mysterious head has and why you all want it. Qin Yun finished speaking and put away the table. That is the head of the immortal desolate Sacred Master. As long as you control that head, you can control the strongest power of the immortal desolate and rule over the immortal desolate forever. Li Longxian said, The immortal desolate Sacred Master has been missing for several epochs. No one knows the reason. And the immortal, desolate sacred master was sent by the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. Legend has it that the Nine-Yang Divine Palace is the supreme existence that controls the nine suns and nine desolate. Everyone yearns to go to the Nine-Yang Divine Palace, but in the Divine Desolate, only the Sun God knows about the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. However, the Sun God of the Divine Desolate has been missing for many years, and his position has never reappeared. Very few people know about the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. Li Longxian said. Qin Yin finally understood the use of the mysterious head. As long as he grasped that head, he would be able to find the Nine-Yang Divine Palace, and at the same time, dominate the immortal desolate. I'll enter the Dead Mountain jungle to look for the human head, Qin Yin said. Since you know that the head of the immortal desolate sacred master is in the Death Mountain Evil Forest, then don't divide the territory. Go in and look for it as soon as possible. Li Longxian sneered. Of course we have to fight for territory. Do you think it's easy to find that head? We plan to spend hundreds or even thousands of years to find it. So we still need territory. The middle-aged man from the evil Yang race laughed. With territory, we can have more people coming over, and we have more space to move around. This way, there won't be any conflicts. Qin Yin sighed and said, all right, you guys continue. Just now, a guy from Inscription World challenged Songshuan Mountain and won. Songshuan Mountain needs to give some territory to the guy from the Inscription World. Now it is our turn to challenge Songshuan Mountain. The middle-aged Xieyang man said, Hua Tonggan, come out and fight. You must defeat them. Songshuan's sect master said. Hua Tonggan nodded his head, then jumped off the ship and arrived at a simple battlefield not far away. Qin Yin now understands how they divided the territory. First, Xieyang race and Inscription World people went to challenge Songshuan Mountain, Honglong Mountain, and North Wind Valley respectively. As long as Songshuan Mountain, North Wind Valley, and Honglong Mountain lose, they have to cede a large piece of their territory to others. If they win, they don't have to. And finally, Songshuan Mountain and North Wind Valley also have to challenge Honglong Mountain. As long as Honglong Mountain can keep winning, they don't have to cede territory. Because Honglong Mountain controls the most territory, it caused other powers to be envious. Hong Quan accepted this kind of territory division challenge to avoid a large-scale war. Otherwise, other major powers will definitely join forces to attack them. Once they break through Honglong Mountain, they will be able to divide up even more territory. And Honglong Mountain also controls many instant space iron or mines and obtain floating cloud heavenly mountain, causing people to be even more envious. Qin Yin said, Me and Little Ninian are now part of Honglong Mountain. If you need us to fight, we won't refuse. Hong Quan said with mischievous smile, Little Qin, don't worry. We can defend them. The evil Yang race and the Inscription World aren't that strong. Let's go to the side. We won't have a chance to attack. Old Man Song said. Li Longxian said with sneer, Don't be too proud. When you challenge, you don't have to compete in power. You can also challenge with inscription. I am an expert in this. Even if you are from Inscription World, I am not afraid of you. Old Man Song said very confidently. Li Longxian said disdainfully, Just wait and see. In the distant battlefield, a great battle has erupted. Flames burst out. Hua Tonggan is a 9th-level Dao immortal. They also agreed before that they will only let Dao immortals fight. Because they don't have many golden immortals, if a few important ones die, the losses will be very heavy. Qin Yin fought with Hua Tonggan before. He knows that Hua Tonggan's greatest weakness is that his soul defense is not good and his body is indeed almost indestructible. Unless one's strength is very strong, it would be very difficult to destroy Hua Tonggan's body. The Xieyang race's middle-aged man is also not weak. He was hit by Hua Tonggan several times, but it seems like he is completely fine. The skin of the Xieyang race's warrior is overflowing with black gas. His muscles are very developed, and his body is also very large. In terms of agility, he is not the least bit inferior to Hua Tonggan. Hua Tonggan split into 2 avatars, and part of his body transformed into a dragon. He attacked the Xieyang race from 3 different directions. Although the Xieyang race's body is very durable, Hua Tonggen's dragon claws are very sharp. They have already scratched bloody marks on the Xieyang race's huge body. The battle on the battlefield is very intense. Flames are burning everywhere. Hua Tonggen's body has been blasted apart several times. Every time he was blasted apart, he would only turn into flames. And the people in the flames are either bound by dragon-like flames, wrapped in tornadoes, or find all kinds of flames to attack. Hua Tonggen's constitution is indeed very disgusting. Many people from a Xieyang race are cursing in low voices because they can't kill him no matter how they hit him. The Zhangshuan sect master's face is full of smiles because no matter how he looks at it, Hua Tonggen will definitely win. Just when everyone thinks that the Xieyang race's warrior can't hold on any longer, a wave of black gas suddenly seeped out of the battlefield. It is a slightly evil aura. What method did you use? Hua Tonggen angrily said. He charged over and violently beat the Xieyang race's warrior, causing him to let out a series of miserable cries. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. The Xieyang race's warrior finally couldn't hold on any longer and loudly admitted defeat. All the flames on the battlefield have been retracted by Hua Tonggen. When he retracted them, the flames were all mixed with black gas. At this moment, Hua Tonggen's body also seeped out a faint black gas. When he walked, he was swaying. Hua Tonggen, what's wrong? The Zhangshuan sect master shouted towards the battlefield from a ship, preparing to go over to take a look. Zhangshuan sect master, your disciple has been poisoned, and it is a very powerful, soul-burning poison. The Xieyang race's middle-aged man said, You better not go over in case you get infected and say that our Xieyang race is despicable. You use poison? Isn't that despicable? The Zhangshuan sect master said angrily. That poison is something that our disciple was born with. It is a part of his own power. This isn't against the rules, right? The Xieyang race's middle-aged man shook his head and sighed. What's more, you guys won this battle. Hua Tonggen immediately roared and rolled on the battlefield, looking like he was in extreme pain. The Xieyang race's warrior also returned. His body was covered in injuries, but his face was filled with pride. Sectmaster, I'm in great pain. Save me. Hua Tonggen, who was on the battlefield not far away, cried out in pain. The Zhangshuan sect master wanted to go over, but he didn't dare because the soul-burning poison looked very powerful. He was worried that he would be infected. The Xieyang race's middle-aged man chuckled and said, The soul-burning poison specifically targets the soul. Let alone a 9th-stage heavenly immortal like him. Even a golden immortal would find it difficult to resist. How do we cure that poison? The Zhangshuan sect master asked. Detoxification. The process is very difficult. Only the person who uses poison can cure it. The middle-aged man looked at the wounded warrior and said, Only he can cure it. The Xieyang race's warrior laughed sinisterly. Only I can cure the soul-burning poison. Anyone who touches the poisoned person will be infected. Sect master, if you don't believe me, go and try. The Zhangshuan sect master didn't dare to go over. If he was poisoned, he would definitely beg the other party to cure him. Zhangshuan sect master, you guys won this competition, so you don't need to divide your territory for us. But if you want to cure the poison, you have to use your territory to exchange. The Xieyang race's middle-aged man chuckled. Despicable. Many people present cursed in their hearts. Qin Yun sneered. Xieyang race bastards, you are indeed a bunch of scoundrels. Even if you lose, you will use any means necessary to achieve your goal. Little brother, we didn't break the rules. We're making a deal. That guy being poisoned is his own problem. Who asked him to not defend well? The middle-aged Xieyang race snorted and said, Sectmaster, hurry up, or that person will die. Someone from the Xieyang race laughed complacently and urged. Just now, the Zhangshuan sect had lost Li Longxian and the others and had to give up quite a bit of territory. If they gave up again this time, the Zhangshuan sect would lose even more territory. The Zhangshuan sect master shouted at Hua Tonggen, Hua Tonggen, I was the one who picked you up and saved your life. The Zhongshuan sect needs your sacrifice to protect our territory. I hope you can understand." Hua Tonggen suddenly let out an angry roar. The roar was filled with unwillingness and despair. His body was also burning with black flames. No one from the Zhongshuan sect said anything because they didn't want to save Hua Tonggen and cause the Zhongshuan sect's territory to shrink. "I'll go take a look. Maybe there's hope," Qin Yun suddenly said and quickly flew over. Chapter 1526. Insidious means. Although Qin Yun had fought with Hua Tonggen before, he had a good impression of him. Upon seeing Hua Tonggen suffering from the spirit-burning poison and being heartlessly abandoned by the Zhongshuan sect, Qin Yun felt a deep sense of sympathy and decided to go over to take a look. Hua Tonggen was in extreme despair. The pain caused him to scream crazily. "Little Qin, be careful," Hong Quangang shouted. "What's the point of this guy going there? He won't be able to get rid of the burning soul poison, and he will be poisoned instead." The middle-aged Xie Yang sneered. "This guy is just going to die?" Hong Quangang looked towards Sect Master Zhongshuan and snorted. "Hua Tonggen has a lot of potential. Are you not willing to part with that piece of land?" "Leader Hong Long, it's easy for you to say that. The territory of my Zhongshuan sect is not big. We have already given a piece to the inscription world. If we give another piece, then our Zhongshuan sect will have the smallest territory in the Great Dragon Desolate Domain." Sect Master Zhongshuan sighed helplessly. "I'm doing this for the benefit of the entire Zhongshuan sect." An elder of the Zhongshuan sect said, "We support Sect Master's decision." The other elders and disciples of the Zhongshuan sect expressed their support for Sect Master Zhongshuan's decision. Besides the people from Hong Longshan, everyone else felt that Sect Master Zhongshuan's actions were very normal. If they were in his shoes, they would have done the same. Qin Yun's ability to fly shocked many people. As for the Xieyang race's people, they all have faces full of schadenfreude as they look at Hua Tonggen, who is rolling around in pain on the battlefield. Qin Yun quickly flew over and arrived beside Hua Tonggen. He released tree vines to bind Hua Tonggen, preventing him from moving. Hua Tonggen's body was very strong, but his soul was not. The burning soul poison targeted the soul, so the pain came from the depths of his soul. "Hua Tonggen, hold on!" Qin Yun shouted and released a very strong mental power that entered Hua Tonggen's body through the tree vines. Very quickly, Qin Yun discovered that the power of the soul-burning poison is extremely terrifying. It firmly entangled Hua Tonggen's soul. Moreover, there were waves of very strong spiritual will that passed through, as if someone was controlling the poison to act up. "Little Yun, the guy who poisoned us just now can constantly release his mental power to enhance the toxicity. That guy's means are really good," Ling Yun suddenly said. "After all, the Xieyang race has all kinds of methods." After Qin Yun locked on a Hua Tonggen's soul, he poured in a very strong, overwhelming righteous power. Not only did it enter Hua Tonggen's soul, it also entered his body. This was because a lot of the soul-burning poison's poison power was hidden in Hua Tonggen's body. The soul-burning poison was a very evil power. The overwhelming righteous power could easily erase it. The people on the big ship saw that Hua Tonggen did not continue to shout. They were all very surprised. This was especially so for those from the Xieyang race. They understood the soul-burning poison very well, and they knew that apart from the person who poisoned it, no one else would be able to cure it. This was because it was a very special mental poison that could directly harm one's soul. The middle-aged man who poisoned him frowned. He released an even stronger mental force and controlled the poison to become berserk. The soul-burning poison's power suddenly became very berserk. Hua Tonggen screamed in pain again. "That bastard, he can actually continuously increase the poison power." Qin Yun frowned. He released an even stronger mental power to probe Hua Tonggen's soul. After probing, he discovered to his astonishment that there was a very strong soul inside Hua Tonggen's soul. Clearly, it was released by the person who poisoned him. He wanted to devour Hua Tonggen's soul. What a vicious guy! Qin Yun is extremely alarmed. Hua Tonggen's body is very strong. The Xieyang race also wants it. Ling Yun also said very angrily, "Little Yun, erase that strand of soul. That bastard Xieyang race should feel very uncomfortable." Qin Yun laughed inwardly. Directly destroying that strand of soul is too easy on that guy. He operated the one-thought Imperial Heaven Art, causing his mental power to suddenly become very strong. Combined with the soul-refining technique he mastered, he entered Hua Tonggen's soul through the air. Hua Tonggen's soul has been invaded by that Xieyang race warrior's soul and unceasingly released poison power. This is the reason why Hua Tonggen is in so much pain. Now, Qin Yun used the soul-refining technique and formidable mental power to remove the poison power inside Hua Tonggen's soul and then grabbed the Xieyang warrior's soul. Hua Tonggen suddenly became a lot more comfortable. He gasped for breath and looked at Qin Yun with eyes filled with gratitude. He said very excitedly, "Many thanks to Sect Master Fu Yun for saving me. I am willing to follow you in the future." Hua Tonggen was saved by Qin Yun. This caused everyone on the ship to be very surprised. Old Man Song laughed mischievously. Only he is not surprised because he was saved by immortal King Fu Yun back then. Now he can also understand Hua Tonggen's excitement. "I will inject some power into your body. You control that power and expel the remaining poison power in your body," Qin Yun said, and then injected overwhelming righteous power. Then he took out a soul-sealing pearl and placed the soul he captured inside. Then he released a bit of flame to roast it. The Xieyang race warrior who released the soul-burning poison earlier could not help but let out a low roar. He only felt a burning pain. Qin Yun loosened the vines and let Hua Tonggen down. Hua Tonggen looked at Qin Yun with a face full of reverence. He now understood even more why this young man could become Sect Master Fu Yun, not fear the Xieyang race, and even kill 2 great dragons of the Xieyang race. Hua Tonggen followed Qin Yun back to the ship. "Hua Tonggen, it's good that you are fine. It's good that you are fine." Sangshuan's Sect Master only felt very embarrassed when he saw Hua Tonggen following Qin Yun. "Sect Master Sangshuan, you saved my life back then, but I have frequently entered the Death Mountains and Evil Forest to search for instant space immortal iron for you. Plus, you gave up on saving me, so we don't owe each other anything now." Hua Tonggen coldly said, "I have the freedom to go wherever I want." Hua Tonggen often entered the Flood Dragon Pool to cultivate. This is what Sangshuan's Sect Master said before. But what everyone doesn't know is that Hua Tonggen often enters the Death Mountain Evil Forest. Sangshuan's Sect Master can't say anything now. After all, he has already given up on saving Hua Tonggen. The Xieyang race warrior furiously looked at Qin Yun. What'd you do just now? Detoxify? What? Don't tell me you won't allow me to detoxify." Qin Yun smiled and said, "Xieyang race, you are a bit overbearing. I killed your 2 dragons before, but you didn't seem to restrain yourselves at all." Mentioning the 2 dragons, the Xieyang race people are filled with anger, but they can do nothing because they were the ones who attacked the floating cloud Heavenly Mountain. It is natural for them to retaliate. Qin Yun is holding a bead in his hand. A flame suddenly appeared in his palm and burned the soul-sealing bead. The Xieyang race warrior immediately fell to the ground and screamed. The middle-aged Xieyang race man furiously said, "Quickly stop." Qin Yun sneered a few times and continued burning the bead, causing the Xieyang race warrior to scream in pain. Everyone is shocked. They don't know what Qin Yun did to make the Xieyang race warrior suffer so much. "Xieyang race, you are truly despicable. The battle is clearly over, but you left a strand of your soul in Hua Tonggen's body and are still continuously releasing mental attacks." Qin Yun laughed loudly. "Sangshuan Sect, North Wind Valley, look at the methods of the Xieyang race bastards. Do you still want to continue dividing territory with them?" The Xieyang race warrior on the ground continuously roared in pain. Everyone immediately understood that the Xieyang race used an evil technique and left a strand of their soul in Hua Tonggen's body. That's why they can continuously release powerful mental attacks to torture Hua Tonggen. North Wind Valley and Sangshuan Sect people are not fools. After they thought of this, their expressions became gloomy. especially the Zhongshuan sect master. He is the most furious because he was tricked by the Xieyang race. Xieyang race, you don't have the qualifications to compete with us for territory. You can scram now, Hongquan Gang said coldly. Scram. We will not accept your challenge. Sect Master Bei Feng said coldly because it is their turn to accept the challenge of the Xieyang race and the inscription world. It's all this bastard's fault. It has nothing to do with our Xieyang race. The Xieyang race middle-aged man was stunned and quickly said. Then, he walked over and kicked the Xieyang race warrior a few times. Boss, it's you who told me to do that. Quickly save me. I'm dying of pain. The Xieyang race warrior shouted. What nonsense are you spouting? The boss furiously roared and sent out a palm strike, killing the warrior. Then, he coldly said, Who told you not to follow the rules and act recklessly? This is the result. A warrior that can release a very strong soul-burning poison can be considered to have good aptitude. Yet he gave up just like that, and even did it himself. At this moment, everyone can see the viciousness of the Xieyang race. The large ship immediately became silent, enveloped in a desolate and oppressive atmosphere. Li Longxian suddenly laughed and said, The guy who broke the rules has been taken care of, and the poison Hua Tongan has been saved. This is a good thing. Let's continue the challenge. The Xieyang race is very kind. Their attitude is also worthy of praise. Let's not blame them. The people here are all old foxes. They can all see that Li Longxian is trying to curry favor with the Xieyang race. Li Longxian came from the inscription world and is an outsider. He is also worried that if the three great sects unite, they will squeeze the living space of the inscription world and might even be chased away. Li Longxian doesn't like the Xieyang race very much, but he has no other choice. He has to join hands with the Xieyang race to suppress the three great sections. We have a Xieyang here. If we really want to fight with our lives on the line, we will definitely turn this place into a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. The voice of the Xieyang race's middle-aged man is very calm, but there is a strong sense of threat in it. Chapter 1527. Inscription Worlds challenged the sect masters of the three great sects, discussed in secret, and agreed to continue accepting challenges. They also agreed that if the Xieyang race uses dirty tricks again, they will not tolerate it. Friend of the Xieyang race, I'll let you go first this time. Li Longxian made an inviting gesture and said with a smile. The Xieyang race sent out a ninth-stage Dao immortal and said, We will definitely not have any problems in this battle. It was all that guy's fault before. If you guys make a mistake again, there won't be a next time. Sect Master Bei Feng said coldly. Next, it will be their turn to be challenged. Zhongshuan Mountain has been challenged by the Inscription World and the Xieyang race. They only lost one match and did not cede too much territory. The Xieyang race did not dare to act recklessly this time because they know that Qin Yun is very strange and can see through their methods. If not for Qin Yun suddenly making a move, no one here would have been able to see through his methods. The person sent out by North Wind Valley is a youth, and he rushed towards the battlefield with the Xieyang race warrior. Everyone is on the large ship. They're a bit far from the battlefield, but they can clearly see the battle. Sect Master Bei Feng's expression is solemn, and he did not say a word. He does not want to lose because if he loses, they will have to cede a part of their territory to the Xieyang race. In the Great Dragon Desolate Domain, other than those barren lands without resources and those dangerous areas, the other areas have long been occupied by the three great sections. If the Xieyang race and the Inscription World people want to stay for a long time and not clash with the other sects, they need to have their own territory. Therefore, no matter what, they must obtain a piece of land today and have a certain amount of resources. The battle on the battlefield is very intense. The youth from North Wind Valley is very strong. The martial arts and power he grasps are very strong, but he is currently being suppressed by the Xieyang race warrior. Not long after, the battle is coming to an end, and the youth from North Wind Valley lost. Sect Master Bei Feng's expression is very ugly because they have to cede a region to the Xieyang race. The Xieyang race finally obtain a region, and they feel a lot more at ease. Next, the Inscription World will challenge North Wind Valley. The people from the inscription world are not weak, mainly because of the runes they grasp. They can carve runes or totems on their body to obtain great power. The North Wind Valley sent out a middle-aged man, while Li Longxian sent out a young man. Li Longxian was very confident that it would not be difficult to beat North Wind Valley, because they had beaten Sangshuan Mountain once before, and North Wind Valley's overall strength was inferior to Sangshuan Mountain. Sect Master Beifeng is very nervous now. If they lose again, they will have to cede another region. The battle began. Qin and Xian Yinyun and Xie. The battle began. Qin and Xian Yinyun and Qin and Xieyang race. Not long after it started, she whispered, "The North Wind Valley disciples are going to win." "Little Xiao Xiao, little but world," Li said. "Li and Li," Li said. "But it hasn't been long since the battle started. How can you be so sure that our people will lose?" "Don Don. Sec Don Xiao, Chun Battle Don, and Don People, Xia Mini Yang Mini. Xia Xia, Mini Xia Mini Tian Xia. Xia Xia, S Xia Tian Xia S can control. Fire. Xia Xia, Tian is long. Fire can restrain ice and melt ice. Since the North Wind Valley disciple is restrained by our disciple, why do you say that the North Wind Valley disciple will win?" Li Longxian shook his head and smiled. "Because that North Wind Valley disciple's ice power is very strong. He can freeze flames. Moreover, he is also hiding fire attribute immortal power. It is to resist the flames." Xin Yinyun said softly, "I fought with North Wind Valley disciple before. I know he is not afraid of fire." Li Longxian frowned. The youth they sent out only grasped a single fire immortal power. The main reason was to be able to release pure flames when refining, so he did not cultivate multiple attributes of immortal power. As for the North Wind Valley disciple, he has mastered ice and fire immortal power. This is a dual attribute. Because one can control fire attribute immortal power, they can resist fire to a certain extent. Indeed, on the battlefield, the middle-aged man from the North Wind Valley fought with ease. As for the youth from Inscription World, he found it difficult to defend and was almost injured several times. On the battlefield, there were two heavens of ice and fire. Generally speaking, those who mastered ice and fire immortal power could fuse ice and fire together. Not long after, the youth from Inscription World shouted loudly and admitted defeat, because he was beaten to a point where he can no longer bear the pain. Xian Yinyun lightly groaned and said, "I already said it. You still don't believe me." Sangshuan's sect master feels very bad in his heart. Xian Yinyun is a very strong 9th-level Dao immortal, yet she followed Qinyan. And Hua Tonggan also pledged loyalty to Qinyan. In this battle, the Inscription World lost. Li Longxuan's expression is very unsightly because they will be challenging Hong Longshan next. Hong Longshan is not easy to deal with. Qinyan and Xian Yinyun are both very strong. The middle-aged man from the Evil Sun race said, "Next is Hong Longshan. Li Longxian, this time you guys go first. How about we compare runes? Always fighting, it's boring." Li Longxian suddenly said, "Inscription competition? This is a waste of time." Hong Quan Gang said with sneer. Everyone can see that Li Longxian is afraid of fighting. Because Qin Yun and Xian Yinyun are on Hong Longshan's side, they can also fight. Xian Yinyun alone can beat up all the 9th-level Dao Immortals. Earlier, Li Longxuan's grandson Li Fengyan was almost insta-killed by Xian Yinyun. Not only Li Longxian is feeling great pressure, Evil Sun Race's people are also feeling the same. They don't want to face Qin Yun and Xian Yinyun. Rest assured, our inscription competition is very simple and fast. Since it is not a battle, I will personally participate. I am also from Inscription Profound Sect. You should also have your own Inscription Profound Sect, right?" Li Longxian said. Old Man Song stood up and asked, "Compete in what?" Li Longxian is incomparably confident in Inscription. He also knows that the level of Inscription in Great Dragon Desolate Domain is very low. Otherwise, Sangshuan Mountain and North Wind Valley would not be so respectful to them. We will compete to refine a small puppet. Make it within an hour. It is not a competition to test the puppet's strength, but rather speed. Li Longxian said with mischievous smile. How about it? Old Man Song nodded and said, All right, let's compete. I also want to see the level of your inscription world. Sangshuan Sek's Old Man Liang said in low voice, Hong Long Great Elder, Longxian sect has mastered a kind of strange inscription that can allow puppets to fly. If we compete in speed, we might not be able to compete with them. Old Man Liang also kindly reminded Old Man Song. Li Longxian said with mischievous smile, We are the challenger. Our challenge is not too outrageous, right? If an inscription profound sect doesn't have confidence in their own small puppets, then what kind of inscription profound sect is it? Old Man Song doesn't have any special inscription in his hands. Otherwise, he would have already refined a flying magic tool. Let me do it, Qin Yin suddenly said. You? Li Longxian is somewhat surprised. You are also an inscription master. I guess so, Qin Yin said. Can you do it? Old Man Song knows that this is the awesome old ancestor floating cloud, but he doesn't have the memories of his previous life, so he is somewhat doubtful of Qin Yun's strength. Qin Yun said with smile, Of course I can. Sangshuan Sect Master and Beifeng Sect Master looked at each other in shock. They could not tell that Qin Yun is a very strong inscription master. Moreover, in their eyes, powerful inscription masters are generally bald old men. How do we compete in speed? Qin Yun asked. Isn't there a battlefield over there? We just need to refine the small puppets and run back. Li Longxian said. All right. Qin Yun suddenly took out a square piece of immortal iron. It is also a very ordinary immortal iron. It looks like a large iron brick. Li Longxian took out an hourglass and flipped it over, then said, The refined puppet must have hands and feet, or be like a beast. Don't carelessly make something that won't do. What other rules are there? Qin Yun hasn't even started, but Li Longxian already took out many tools and a table and began refining. When it comes to the competition, we will wait for everyone to finish refining, and then we will compete in speed. Li Longxian hurriedly took out the materials and said with a smile, If you can't refine it within an hour, then you lose. There are only a few inscription profound sect people present. They all stretched their necks to look at Li Longxian. Li Longxian came from the inscription world. The inscription civilization there is very developed. Therefore, they all want to see Li Longxuan's puppet refining technique. Qin Yin only took out a table and poured flame into the immortal iron. After the immortal iron became soft, he began kneading it with his hands. Hey, what are you doing? Refining a puppet is not like kneading mud. You should be a bit more serious. Sangshuan Sect Master said with smile. He is the floating cloud sect master. Even if he loses, ceding a bit of territory is not a big deal. Hong Longshan controls the most territory. Xieyang race people said in a very bad mood. Qin Yun is truly kneading the immortal iron as if it is mud. While kneading, he is very serious. Moreover, his kneading is very exquisite. Everyone can see that after he kneaded the softened immortal iron into a strip shape, it has the appearance of a small dragon. And on Li Longxuan's side, he is busy forging. He doesn't have many materials. Now he is forging the wings of a small bird. He wants to make a very small bird. Compared to him, everyone wants to see Li Longxian make a small puppet beast because he looks more presentable. And Qin Yin looks like he is kneading mud. Although it can be seen that he is making a small dragon, it is not as high level as Li Longxuan's. Even Old Man Song is completely baffled looking at this. He doesn't know what Qin Yun's inscription level is. Xian Yun is not worried at all. The flying immortal robe she is wearing was refined by Qin Yun. It is something that many people in Great Dragon Desolate Domain yearn for. Chapter 1528. Astonishing strength. Qin Yin only wants to refine a small dragon with very fast speed. Therefore, he doesn't have too many requirements for dragon body refinement. As long as it can carry totems and energy, it is enough. Although his dragon was rubbed, many people can see that he is also carving very carefully at the back. The dragon scales and the dragon head are all made out. They are lifelike and also very exquisite. It is an exquisite small golden dragon. After Qin Yin finished crafting it, it emitted a faint golden light. Although Li Longxian forged a small bird, his small bird looks far less exquisite than Qin Yun's small golden dragon. For example, there are no feathers on the small bird's body. It only has the outline of a pair of wings and a bird's head and beak. Although the material of this bird has been forged with a hammer, it looks like a child rubbing it out with mud. From a visual point of view, Qin Yun's small golden dragon is much taller than the small bird. Moreover, the time it can be used is the same. A middle-aged man from the inscription world saw others looking at Li Longxian with disdain and quickly explained, "That Qin Yun's small golden dragon is indeed beautiful, but his material is just soft after being heated. Longxian's small bird doesn't look exquisite, but the material has been tempered. This is the essential difference. Right, what's the use of that guy's golden dragon looking good? The most important thing is the material. If the material is not strong enough, it will not be able to carry the powerful totem runes and can't inject energy. What's the difference between it and a salted fish?" A youth from the inscription world said with sneer. "That small golden dragon looks good, but is useless. The most important thing is to carve the totem. After all, it's a puppet. Without a good totem to support it, it won't do." The people from the inscription world truly think that Qin Yun's small golden dragon is very weak. Qin Yun doesn't think that his small golden dragon is weak. He integrated a bit of dragon tendon into it. Moreover, when he rubbed the immortal iron, he also injected very strong nether sun fire into it. Old Man Song didn't say anything because he faintly felt that this reincarnated old ancestor floating cloud is more powerful than the previous one. Next, it is time to carve the totem. When Qin Yun took out the floating cloud divine needle, Old Man Song felt very excited in his heart because he recognized it as the floating cloud divine needle. Seeing the floating cloud divine needle in Qin Yun's hand, Old Man Song immediately felt relieved. The floating cloud ancestor's inscription technique was not lost. While Qin Yun is carving the totem, the floating cloud divine needle released a ball of light and enveloped it, not letting others see what kind of totem he is carving. The people from the inscription world sneered. What totem can he have? The totems of our inscription world are the most precious. They are actually afraid that we will peek at them. That's right, we're not interested in his tattered totem. Because they came from the inscription world, they all felt that the level of the inscription world was invincible, so they were very arrogant. Qin Yun secretly despised Li Longxian and company. He felt that if Li Longxian really had the ability, he wouldn't have been sent here to do such a hard job. This group of people didn't do well in the inscription world, so they were sent here to do other things that had nothing to do with inscription. If he was a truly skilled inscription master, he would not have been sent to this kind of place to waste time. A total of 2 hours passed by very quickly. Qin Yun finished carving the totem first. He grabbed the little golden dragon and poured in immortal power. The little golden dragon immediately seemed to come to life. The little golden dragon is still coiled around Qin Yun's arm. No matter how you look at it, it looks like it is real. Everyone present is also secretly astonished, especially Sanshuan's sect master and Beifeng's sect master. These knowledgeable people, they all feel that the little golden dragon refined by Qin Yun is definitely not just for show. Because no matter how they look at it now, they feel that Qin Yun's little golden dragon is much better than Li Longxuan's broken bird. Li Longxuan's bird can't be considered a complete bird at all. Its shape is like a child's drawing. It is very abstract. When Qin Yun saw Li Longxuan's bird, he suddenly felt that he overestimated the people from the inscription world. Of course, most people don't dare to say that the bird is ugly because they are afraid of offending the inscription profound sect from the inscription world. Although Grandpa's bird was made in a hurry, it has been tempered thousands of times. Its body is very strong. A young man said, "Longxian sect's bird is very good looking. I like it very much." A middle-aged man laughed and said, "Look, how cute it is." Exactly. This kind of bird is much better looking than that dragon. That guy's dragon doesn't have any imposing manner at all. He made the dragon so small, like a snake. If you want to refine a small puppet, you should refine a normal bird beast. What little dragon? It looks like a little snake. That bird is still the most beautiful. The people of the inscription world all flattered and then belittled Qin Yun's little golden dragon. After Li Longxian heard this, he was also very happy. He chuckled and said, "This little brother has a certain level of foundation in inscription refining, but he has not grasped the essence. He pays too much attention to appearance and doesn't know that the most important thing about a puppet is its inner quality." Longxian's sect is right. A middle-aged man quickly sighed and said, "It is truly an honor for me to hear these words. This will allow me to avoid many detours." At this moment, the people of the inscription world are all flattering Li Longxuan's words one after another. "Li Longxian, your bird is so ugly, yet there are so many people flattering it. Are you guys from the inscription world blind?" Hong Guanggang said with a smile. "The inscription world is so stupid. That bird is clearly ugly beyond the heavens, yet you still say it's cute. Li Longxian, your bird is so ugly, Old Man Song also chuckled. Xie Ninyun giggled, and the people of Hong Longshan also burst into laughter. Even the people from the Tsangshuan sect and the North Wind Valley thought of something and couldn't help but laugh. Li Longxian is very angry and shouted, "I'll let you all see how big my little bird is in a moment. You'll know once you compare." Qin Yun walked over and said with a smile, "I'm ready. We can begin. 1, 2, begin." Li Longxian did not even shout 3 when he released the bird in his hand. Qin Yun cursed in his heart and hurriedly threw his little dragon into the air. A middle-aged man from the inscription world laughed loudly and said, "So this is how his dragon flies. Directly throw it over? How far can it be thrown?" Just as he finished speaking, he saw Qin Yun's little dragon turn into a golden light, quickly moving through the air and charging towards the distant battlefield. Although Li Longxuan's bird flew for a while, it was quickly caught up by Qin Yun's little golden dragon. The people on the ship all have good eyesight. When they saw Qin Yun's little golden dragon flying so nimbly and quickly, they all cried out in alarm. Li Longxian is also extremely astonished because he can't understand why Qin Yun's dragon can fly. The little golden dragon that Qin Yun released quickly arrived at the center of the battlefield. Then, it quickly turned around and flew back. And at this moment, Li Longxuan's ugly bird had just flown to the center of the battlefield. In just a moment, Qin Yun's little golden dragon returned and wrapped around Qin Yun's arm. "I won," Qin Yun said with a smile. You. Li Longxian looked at the little golden dragon on Qin Yun's arm. His eyes widened and he was speechless. Qin Yun's little golden dragon has a dragon totem carved on it. Moreover, it is an immortal tier dragon totem. Level 12 finesse is enough to support the little golden dragon's body to fly. This is the Great Dragon Desolate Domain. Dragons can naturally fly here. Therefore, the dragon totem also has a certain flying ability. Little Nian Yun, you can play with it. Qin Yun handed over the little golden dragon to Xian Yin Yun. Xian Yin Yun looks like she got a fun toy. She is very happy to play with it, controlling the little golden dragon to fly around. Sect Master Tsangshuan, Sect Master Bei Feng, as well as Old Liang and the other inscription profound sects all received a great impact. They are not fools. No matter how much they worship the inscription world, they can now see that Qin Yun's inscription level is higher than Li Longxuan's. Just a moment ago, the group of people from the inscription world kept praising Li Longxuan's ugly bird, but now they are speechless. They also have a very good understanding of inscription refining. They know that the little dragon is not simple. Not only was it made in a short period of time, it is also very beautiful and very fast. This also means that as long as Qin Yun is given enough time, he will be able to refine an even bigger puppet dragon. "What totem did you carve?" Li Longxian asked in astonishment. "Dragon totem," Qin Yun indifferently said. Everyone here looked at Qin Yun in shock, and then looked at the little golden dragon controlled by Xian Yin Yun. They don't dare to believe that it is real. Dragon totem is not very rare in the inscription world, but it is different for the 3 great sections. It is something they yearn for even in their dreams. Even Old Man Song is very astonished. Many years ago, dragon totem was a very rare thing. So, it is a dragon totem. Although Li Longxian said this, he is extremely shocked in his heart. Because Qin Yun can carve it in such a short period of time, he most likely has an inscription spirit. Li Longxian secretly guessed that Qin Yun has mastered the Beast King inscription spirit. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to carve the dragon totem so quickly. Li Longxian personally went up and was defeated. Because of that ugly bird, he was secretly ridiculed in his heart. Their inscription world is also unable to get a share of Hong Long Mountain's territory. Xieyang race. What do you want to compete in? Hong Guanggang looked at the middle-aged Xieyang race man and said with a smile, inscription or battle? The Xieyang race's inscription level is inferior to the inscription world's. Since Li Longxian from the inscription world lost to Qin Yun, they will definitely not be able to win against Qin Yun. As for battle, just yet, Ninian going up to fight is something they can't handle. No more, we admit defeat. The middle-aged Xieyang race man suddenly said. Everyone is stunned. The Xieyang race actually admitted defeat. The people here can understand if they thought about it, because if it was them, they would not be able to defeat Hong Long Mountain. Instead, they would be laughed at by others. It would be best for them to admit defeat. Hong Guanggang looked at Sect Master Bei Feng and Sect Master Zhang Xuan and said, it is your turn to challenge us. Which one of you will go first, and what will you compete in? My Zhang Xuan sect admits defeat. Sect Master Zhang Xuan sighed lightly. They don't have anything to take out. My North Wind Valley wants to compete in inscription with you. Our great Elder Nyo will be here soon. Can you wait? Sect Master Bei Feng said. Chapter 1529. Status Difference. Old Man Song said with smile. Sect Master Bei Feng, are you sure Old Nyo wants to compete with us in runes? Sect Master Bei Feng nodded and said, in order to expand his territory, Great Elder Nyo will definitely compete with you. Moreover, this is not a life and death battle. It doesn't matter if he loses. Because they lost to Xieyang race, they ceded a lot of territory to them. If they win against Hong Longshan, they will get a bit more. Hong Longshan has never lost a single match, and his territory is also the largest. People from North Wind Valley, Sangshuan Mountain, Xieyang race, and Inscription World are all very jealous. Especially Li Longxian, he is very unconvinced. After all, he is a senior, and now he has lost so miserably in front of so many disciples, he can't raise his head. It must be known that many disciples praised his bird before, but now he has lost so miserably, he has lost a lot of face. That great Elder Nyo is not here yet. How about we play something else? Li Longxian looked at Qin Yun and said with smile, little brother, although you are not Floating Cloud Sect Master anymore, you are still a member of Hong Longshan. I presume you have a lot of say in Hong Longshan? Hong Guanggang said, of course, I can even give him the position of Sect Master. Li Longxian, what do you want to do? Li Longxian said with smile, I'm a bit unconvinced. I want to compete again. No way. Hong Guanggang immediately refused. I admit that little brother Qin's refining speed is very fast, but the materials used to refine the little golden dragon have not been tempered. So I feel that if we fight, the little golden dragon's strength is inferior to my bird. Li Longxian said, Grandpa's bird is very slow, but because the materials are tempered, it will definitely be stronger. If we fight, it will definitely win. A youth said, yes, yes, yes. Do you dare to let the little golden dragon fight my grandfather's bird? He definitely won't dare, because he is afraid. Hong Guanggang asked, what if little Qin loses? What can you do? You just want to prove that your ugly bird is a bit stronger. Li Longxian said with mischievous smile, how about this? Let's make a bet. If little brother Qin's little golden dragon wins against my little bird, I'll give him 100 genes of sacred profound silver crystals. If he loses, your Hong Long Mountain will give us an area. All right, Qin Yun promptly agreed. He also wants some sacred Xian silver crystals. Qin Yun held the little golden dragon in his hand, and Li Longxian held the ugly bird in his hand. The crowd also made way for him. Come. As Li Longxian spoke, he released his bird and shouted, whoever's puppet beast is damaged loses. If none of them are damaged, we'll call a draw. Li Longxian felt that his bird had been tempered, and the materials were also very good. It wouldn't be broken so easily. Although it looked a little ugly, it was indeed very stable. The bird flew nimbly in the air. Soon after, Qin Yun also released his little golden dragon. The little golden dragon's flying speed was very fast. After leaping up, it directly bit. "I'll dodge!" Li Longxian controlled the little bird and dodged nimbly in the air. He laughed and said, "Your body is bigger, so it's too easy to attack." After speaking, the little bird swiftly rushed over. Its sharp beak is like a sharp knife. It swiftly and violently shot over. "Don't be complacent." Qin Yun controlled the little golden dragon to swing its tail. The little golden dragon's tail suddenly swept towards the little bird flying over and directly swept it away. It has to be said that the little bird is indeed very sturdy. Although it was swept away, it was not damaged. This little dragon is a bit powerful, but you can't damage the little bird. Li Longxian laughed and said, "Even if he can't win, he won't lose." Just as he was feeling proud, the little golden dragon's speed suddenly became very fast. It shot over like a bolt of lightning. When it arrived, the little golden dragon opened its mouth and bit the little bird. The little bird was firmly bitten by the little golden dragon and can only struggle unceasingly. "You won't be able to bite it. Maybe your mouth will be smashed." Li Longxian is not worried at all. The people below are also seriously watching. Although it looks like a child controlling a toy to fight, this is a showdown between two inscription masters. It is still quite exciting. "Is that so?" Qin Yun said with a smile. Suddenly, a burst of flame rushed out of the little golden dragon's mouth. Li Longxuan's expression changed because he could see that the flame carried the power of the blood soul. That was what Qin Yun had injected into the little golden dragon's body. This is what shocked Li Longxian. He never expected that the little golden dragon's body, which was casually refined, could actually store such a powerful energy. The little bird can no longer struggle because the totem runes in its body have been burned by the flame. The flame can penetrate into the little bird's body and destroy the totem runes. Although the little golden dragon looked like it was casually rubbed out by Qin Yun, it has added something like dragon tendons. Its body is very tough, and small things like the little bird can't damage it at all. The little bird was chewed in the little golden dragon's mouth and shattered in an instant. The little golden dragon flew down and spat out the shattered little bird. Then it flew back to Xian Yin. Looking at the fragments on the ground, the group of people from the inscription world didn't know what to say. Because Li Longxian lost again, and lost even more unsightly than before. Li Longxian has always insisted that his little bird has been tempered and is very sturdy. Previously, he even ridiculed Qin Yun's little golden dragon for being brittle. Those people from the inscription world also said the same thing. But now that the little bird has been destroyed so severely, it means that the little golden dragon's strength is much higher than that little bird. With such a comparison, it can be seen that the little golden dragon far surpasses that ugly bird in all aspects. This means that Qin Yun, a young man who is not even a golden immortal, has a much higher level of inscription than Li Longxian, who came from the inscription world. Li Longxuan's level of inscription made many youngsters secretly despise him, especially the young disciples of the Zhongshuan sect and the North Wind Valley. Because they don't understand the knowledge of inscription, they simply compared Qin Yun and Li Longxian and felt that Li Longxian is very weak. Only those inscription masters know that Li Longxuan's level is quite good. The reason why he lost is because Qin Yun is too strong. Qin Xuanzong, I wonder who your master is. Li Longxuan's tone and attitude are incomparably respectful, and his forehead is covered in sweat. He knows very well what Qin Yun's level of inscription means. Even in the inscription world, where geniuses are like the clouds, he is still a very powerful existence. Seeing Li Longxian suddenly being so respectful towards Qin Yun, those seniors also know that Li Longxian is sincerely convinced and completely kneeled down. Grandfather, how could this bastard be from the inscription profound sect? Such a young inscription profound sect. Even in our inscription world, there aren't many of them, right? A young man said in disbelief. You shut up. Li Longxian immediately shouted angrily. He turned around and slapped the young man, causing him to fall to the ground and let out a blood-curdling scream. Quickly apologized to Senior. Li Longxian grabbed the young man and said sternly. This scene caused everyone to be dumbfounded. Li Longxuan's attitude towards Qin Yun has suddenly changed so much that it is hard for people to accept it for a moment. Qin Yun had previously heard from the Shao family head that in the inscription world, one's status is determined by their level of inscription and not by their cultivation. At that time, he still did not believe it. But now, seeing Li Longxuan's attitude, he also believed that it was true. It can be seen that in the inscription world, all the inscription masters follow this set of rules. Forget it. Quickly give me the sacred profound silver crystal. Qin Yun said. I'll give it to you right away. Li Longxian took out a storage bag with a smile and handed it over to Qin Yun. After Qin Yun took it and looked at it, he nodded his head in satisfaction. Li Longxian very curiously said, Senior, with your level, you must have a great background. Can you tell me a thing or two so that Junior can broaden his horizons? I am self-taught, and my luck is pretty good. That's why I have a pretty good level of inscription, Qin Yun said with a smile. The group of people from the inscription world are all silent. They now completely understand that Qin Yun's level of inscription is much higher than Li Longxuan's. That's why he became Li Longxuan Sr. Li Longxuan's heart is filled with regret. If he had known earlier that Qin Yun had this level of inscription, he would have definitely fawned on Qin Yun long ago. So what if his level of inscription is high? In front of formidable strength, he is nothing. The middle-aged Xieyang race man said in a very bad mood. Inscription represents strength. What do you barbarians from Xieyang race know? Li Longxian said with sneer. The middle-aged Xieyang race man laughed loudly and said, Qin Yun's inscription technique is very brilliant, but can he win over me with his inscription? I am a third-stage golden immortal. If I could use my equipment, defeating you would not be a problem. I'm only a seventh-stage Dao immortal, Qin Yun said indifferently. All the Xieyang race people burst into laughter. You use equipment. We also use equipment. Could it be that your equipment is stronger than ours? How about we compete? The middle-aged man said with sneer. As he spoke, he took out a set of black armor and put it on. He then took out a large black saber and shouted at Qin Yun, Do you dare to come? Hong Quan Gang and Old Man Song shook their heads at Qin Yun, hinting him not to be impulsive. We also have sacred profound silver crystals. Here are 100 Jin. The middle-aged Xieyang race man took out a fist-sized stone. The sacred profound silver crystal is not big, but it is very heavy. Are we going to fight? Qin Yun asked. He believes that the sacred profound silver crystal can allow some formidable runes to unleash even greater power. It will be very helpful in improving the Lion King canon in the future. Didn't Li Longxian say that runes are very awesome? Let's all wear our equipment and then fight palm to palm. Let's see whose immortal power is stronger and what's the use of runes. The middle-aged Xieyang race man said with sneer, Do you dare or not? Palm-to-palm battle is when two people face each other, put their palms together, and send out their strongest immortal power. If one's immortal power is weak, they will be forced to withdraw their palms. Whoever withdraws first or is forced to retreat will lose. Old Man Song said in low voice, Don't compete with him. The disparity in cultivation is too big. Equipment cannot make up for this disparity in immortal power, especially in palm-to-palm battle. Those with higher cultivation and stronger immortal power will have greater advantage. Chapter 1530. Fight palm to palm. The Xieyang middle-aged man's suggestion was indeed not enough to show how powerful the inscription technique was. Old inscription masters like Li Longxian and Old Man Song immediately realized that the middle-aged Xieyang is deliberately provoking Qin Yun. He wants to use this method to win. If Qin Yun was provoked and wanted to give it a try, there was a high chance that he would lose. At that time, he would have to cede a territory to the Xieyang race. Big brother, don't compete with him. It's too unfair. Xian Yun also walked over and whispered, "You might even get hurt. The bad guys of the Xie Yang race are very bad." "That's right, Senior. Evil Yang race people are crafty and cunning. It is impossible to guard against them." Li Longxian also said, "He is indeed saying these words for Qin Yun's sake." The people of the evil Yang race all curse Li Longxian in their hearts. Li Longxian had been trying to curry favor with them just now, but now he was going to turn his back on them. "If you don't dare, then don't spout bullshit like inscription is strength." The Xie Yang middle-aged man sneered. "Now you see, what's the use of having high talent and inscription? He doesn't even dare to exchange blows with me. He's just a young man, and his cultivation isn't high either. What's there to be cocky about?" Hong Guanggang snorted coldly. "I'm not looking down on him. I just don't agree with the idea that runes represent strength." The Xie Yang race middle-aged man laughed sinisterly. "If that is the case, then he should not be afraid of me. He should use the power of inscription to defeat me." At this moment, Qin Yun is also thinking about how to use the power of runes to defeat this Xie Yang race middle-aged man, because he wants to obtain the 50 genes of sacred mysterious silver crystals. "I will compete with you, but you need to give me some time," Qin Yun said. "All right, 1 hour. Is that enough?" the middle-aged man asked. "Enough," Qin Yun nodded. If Qin Yun wanted to compete, Hong Guanggang and company could not stop him. Qin Yun immediately took out the talisman paper and quickly began crafting talismans. No one knew what kind of talisman he was going to craft. What was surprising was that when he made the talisman, he just used a mirror to make it. His speed was very fast. In an hour's time, he had crafted 10 talismans. After that, Qin Yun stuck the 10 talismans on his body and sent a voice transmission to Hong Guanggang and Old Man Song. He told them to get all the gold immortals on Mount Honglong to release their gold immortal energy for his talisman to absorb. That's it. The Xie middle-aged man looked at the talisman on Qin Yun's body in disdain. "Yes, can we begin?" Qin Yun said with a smile and extended his palm. "We will stand where we are. If anyone takes a step back, retracts their hand, or shatters their arm due to not being able to withstand the power, they will lose," said the middle-aged Xie Yang. Qin Yun nodded. At that moment, Qin Yun and the middle-aged man's palms were pressed together. 1, 2, 3, begin." The middle-aged man shouted, and then sent a powerful force through his palm. Qin Yun immediately sensed that the middle-aged man's evil power was very violent. It was the power of a golden immortal. When it entered his arm, it wreaked havoc, causing his arm to feel pain. Fortunately, he was able to quickly release a wave of overwhelming righteous power to suppress the evil power. "Somewhat powerful," the middle-aged Xie Yang sneered, then let out a loud shout and poured in even more evil power. Qin Yun promptly let Ling Yun release the Nether Sun's devouring power and devoured a portion of the evil power that entered his body. Qin Yun cultivated immortal devil, sacred body. Although he is suffering from the evil powers ravaging and feeling pain, he can still endure it. The overwhelming righteous power counteracted a portion of the evil power, and his Nether Sun devoured a portion. This can reduce a lot of pressure on him. At this moment, Hong Guanggang, Old Man Song, and a few other golden immortals of Mount Honglong released their golden immortal power. The golden immortal power they released quickly poured into the 10 talismans on Qin Yun's body. At this moment, everyone can see that the talismans on Qin Yun's body are absorbing the golden immortal power and releasing a dazzling light. "You?" the middle-aged Xie Yang man said unhappily. "This seems to be breaking the rules." "Is it? We did not directly touch little Qin's body, and we are so far away from him. We are voluntarily releasing our golden immortal power. Is there a rule that says we are not allowed to release our golden immortal power?" Hong Guanggang said with a smile. After Li Longxian saw this, he immediately released his golden immortal power and said with a smile, "Those talismans are working. They can gather the powerful immortal power from all around." Seeing Li Longxian help, the 2 sect masters and golden immortals of the North Wind Valley and Sangshuan sect also released their golden immortal power. The people of these two sects respected Li Longxian very much before, and now that Li Longxian is so friendly to Qin Yun, they naturally have to follow suit. The middle-aged Xie Yang man exploded in anger. He roared furiously and released even more berserk evil power. Qin Yun's arm was attacked by the strong evil power and fiercely swelled up. In order to unblock that power, Qin Yun absorbed the evil power through the muscles of his arm and then released it through his arm. Therefore, his arm is now covered in black gas. When everyone present saw this scene, they cried out in alarm again and again. Because for Qin Yun's arm to be able to withstand such berserk evil power, it is very clear that his body is very strong. Even if it's a sacred body, it shouldn't be that easy to withstand this kind of evil power, right? Sangshuan's sect master said in a low voice, "What exactly is going on with his body? That kind of evil power is very terrifying. Even us golden immortals would find it very difficult to go up against it." Sect Master Bei Feng nodded and said, "Qin Yun weakened the evil power through several methods, so he was able to maintain it. Motherfucker, I don't believe that you can hold on." The middle-aged Xie Yang man's expression turned sinister. His arm suddenly grew many black hairs. It actually turned into the arm of a ferocious beast. On the surface of that arm, there are many protruding tendons. Those tendons are as thick as a thumb, and they are bulging on the surface. One could see waves of evil power flowing through those tendons. Qin Yun stood on the spot and felt that the evil power suddenly become a lot stronger. If he doesn't unblock and counteract that evil power, he will be sent flying. Suddenly, his arm swelled up, but is not as terrifying as the middle-aged man's arm. Qin Yun released the Nether Sun Totem of the Heavenly Tao's ferocious power and attached it to his arm. Because it is wrapped in sleeves, no one can see it. However, everyone can feel that ferocious power. Xian Yun is somewhat worried. She originally wanted to release her immortal power for Qin Yun to absorb, but she immediately thought that her immortal power would take up the passage of golden immortal power, so she could only watch anxiously from the side. "Little Qin, are you still not done? That guy is getting stronger and stronger," Hong Quan Gang said anxiously. "Almost done," Qin Yun said. "There are nearly 20 golden immortals present releasing their golden immortal power. The talismans stuck on Qin Yun's body are immortal talismans that condense immortal power. They can be controlled by Qin Yun to quickly absorb the surrounding immortal power. Moreover, it is simply a storage space inside the talisman." Very quickly, the 10 talismans stuck on his body began to emit light. Qin Yun used his mental power to control a talisman to fall from his body and then stick on the back of his hand. "What are you doing?" The middle-aged Xieyang man suddenly became somewhat worried. "You can't use talismans to attack me. This is breaking the rules." "Hee, I won't attack you." Qin Yun laughed. What is shocking is that the immortal talisman stuck on the back of Qin Yun's hand suddenly went under the skin of the back of his hand and entered his palm. Qin Yun used the mysterious penetration divine ability to get the talisman into his palm. And that palm is currently facing the middle-aged man's palm. Boom! Qin Yun controlled the talisman, and the inside of his palm exploded. Immediately, he felt a burst of pain coming from his palm, and a berserk golden immortal power suddenly surged out. He immediately released a very strong mental power and pushed the golden immortal power out and into the palm of the middle-aged man. The expression of the middle-aged Xie Yang man changed greatly, because a very strong golden immortal power poured into his arm. Hong Quan Gang and the others are all exclaiming in surprise. Qin Yun has begun his counterattack. Qin Yun took out another talisman from his body and placed it in his palm like before. Then, he activated the immortal talisman. The instant it exploded, it produced a very strong impact. If one's body was not strong enough, they would be injured. The back of Qin Yun's hand and palm have split open and blood flowed out. Third one, Qin Yun continued. Boom! The immortal talisman that gathered the powerful golden immortal power in his palm exploded with great power. Then, it was pushed out by Qin Yun's mental power and exploded with great power. In this way, Qin Yun can indeed use the immortal talisman to fight against powerful golden immortals. The fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the golden immortal power released by every immortal talisman almost sent the middle-aged Xie Yang man flying. It has to be said that the middle-aged man is indeed very strong. He can continuously block it. Finally, on the ninth talisman, the middle-aged Xie Yang man could not endure it anymore. His cracked palm was torn apart by the golden immortal power that exploded out, and his body was sent flying. You lost. Qin Yun's palm is also not lightly injured. There are many cracks on it. However, one can see golden threads within the cracks. This is something unique to Sacred Body. It can quickly heal injuries. The spectators are all filled with admiration towards Qin Yun. Even the people of the Xie Yang race have no choice but to admit that mastering runes can indeed allow one to obtain power that surpasses one's own cultivation. Especially the old inscription master Li Longxian. He is filled with admiration. This battle of palms caused everyone present to be shocked. A Tao immortal can defeat a golden immortal and even shatter a golden immortal's palm. Consider yourself powerful. The middle-aged Xie Yang man also threw the sacred profound silver crystal to Qin Yun. After Qin Yun received it, he weighed it in his hand and then put it away. And at this time, a roar came from the distance. I, Niu Tianquang, have arrived. This guy really came at the right time. He came while little Qin is at his weakest. Hong Guanggang groaned. Qin Yun is currently very weak. Xian Yun hastily channeled her immortal power to him. Chapter 1531. 1531 Chapter 1531 Old Ancestor Fu Yun Qin Yun's current state is not very good, and Niu Tianquang's sudden arrival made many people believe that the North Wind Valley might win. Sect Master Bei Feng and the people of the North Wind Valley hurriedly got off the ship to welcome Great Elder Niu. They also briefly explained the situation here so that Great Elder Niu would know the specific situation. As long as we win against Hong Longshan in terms of inscription, we can obtain a piece of their territory. That's great. I can definitely win against Old Man Song. Niu Tianquang, who is below the ship, laughed happily. Old Man Song said to Qin Yun with a smile, I can win against that guy. This time, I won't have to trouble Senior to take action. Old Ox, that bastard, is still so arrogant and smug. Niu Tianquang chuckled as he walked onto the ship. This is a puppet old man with a tiger waist and a bare back. He has a very big ox nose and a pair of golden ox horns on his head. It looks like they grew out of his head. Old Man Song, long time no see. Ha ha ha, we can finally spar again. You will definitely lose to me this time. Niu Tianquang laughed. Old Man Song walked out and coldly snorted. Old Ox, you lost to me many times back then. What makes you so sure that you can win against me? Don't be arrogant. Niu Tianquang chuckled and said, Look at your sallow face. There's no color at all. Look at me. Don't I look like a real person? Niu Tianquang's body is also refined. It belongs to the body of a puppet, and the totem carved on it is a cow. It is also a refined body, but Old Man Song's complexion is indeed very poor. The reason why it is like this is because Old Man Song has experienced several fierce battles before, and also because he has not calmed down to take care of his body for many years. In terms of inscription, I will not lose to you. Come, Old Man Song said proudly. At this time, Sect Master Bei Feng pulled Niu Tianquang's sleeve and said in a low voice, Great Elder, that little brother is from the inscription Profound Sect. Even the Longxian sect respect him very much. The moment Niu Tianquang came up, he showed off in front of Old Man Song. He did not even look at anyone else. When he saw Qin Yun, his bull-like eyes widened, and he could not help but shiver. He hurriedly rubbed his eyes to make sure that he wasn't seeing things. He immediately cried out, Senior, is that you? Old Ox, it seems like your memory is not bad. Old Man Song chuckled. Sect leader Bei Feng was dumbfounded. The others were also shocked. The old undying man from the North Wind Valley actually knew Qin Yun and even addressed him as Senior. Previously, when Qin Yun came with Old Man Song, everyone could tell that Old Man Song was very respectful to Qin Yun. The two patriarch-level old farts from the North Wind Valley and Hong Dragon Mountain actually addressed Qin Yun as senior. This shocked the people from the three sections. Old Ox, long time no see, Qin Yun said with a smile. Senior, it's really you. You came to Great Dragon Desolate Domain. Why didn't you come to North Wind Valley to find me first? Old Bull is very excited and quickly walked over. Old Man Song said with smile, Senior came to my place first. You guys from North Wind Valley were planning to attack Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain before. After Niu Tianquang heard this, he flew into a rage and turned around to look at sect leader Bei Feng. Feeling Niu Tianquang's anger, sect leader Bei Feng is scared silly. He quickly explained, Absolutely not. I never thought of attacking Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain. Old Ox, Old Song is just joking. Don't take it seriously. Qin Yun said. Old Song, you can't joke like this. Niu Tianquang quickly arrived beside Qin Yun and very respectfully said, Senior, why don't you come to our North Wind Valley? Our place is much better than Hong Dragon Mountain. I have important things to do. Qin Yun said, I won't go for now. Oh, that's right about your challenge to Hong Dragon Mountain. Just forget about it. Don't waste your energy. Whatever Senior says. Niu Tianquang nodded and said, It's great to be able to see Senior again. Senior, if you need any help in Great Dragon Desolate Domain, just say the word. Qin Yun nodded. When I need your help, I will definitely inform you. Sect leader Bei Feng's forehead is full of sweat. He really didn't expect that the young man in front of him would actually know the old undying of their North Wind Valley. Even Sangshuan's sect leader is panicking at this moment because he seems to have guessed something. The Xieyang race people realized that the situation is not right and immediately fled, fearing that they would be besieged by several sects. Li Longxian and others are secretly alarmed because now it seems that Hong Dragon Mountain and North Wind Valley will definitely join forces. And then there's only Sangshuan's sect. Senior, are you old ancestor Floating Cloud? Sangshuan's sect leader suddenly walked over and asked. Old ancestor Floating Cloud. This is the person who established Floating Cloud sect. Moreover, Hong Dragon Mountain, North Wind Valley, and Sangshuan sect are indebted to him. At that time, the ancestors of these sects all respected old ancestor Floating Cloud very much. Sect leader Bei Feng is stunned. Even Hong Chuangong's face is full of astonishment. Li Longshuan's heart is beating wildly. He came to Great Dragon Desolate Domain once before and heard many things about old ancestor Floating Cloud. What he did not expect is that the young man in front of him is the legendary old ancestor Floating Cloud. Everyone knew that old ancestor Floating Cloud had refined a lot of good things in those days. Within the three great sects, they were all present. For example, Hong Dragon Sacred Cannon of Hong Dragon Mountain, Sangshuan sect's mountain protecting Great Array, and North Wind Valley's Great Array were all set up by old ancestor Floating Cloud. Old ancestor Floating Cloud is my previous life. Qin Yun sighed and said, My previous life died because of some reason. You could be reborn after death? As expected of old ancestor Floating Cloud, you are truly amazing. Niu Tianquang laughed and said, No matter what your current cultivation is, you are still old ancestor Floating Cloud. My life was saved by you. I still owe you until now. Hong Quangang said, Great Elder Niu, old ancestor Floating Cloud seems to be lacking instant space immortal iron. Do you have it? Yes. We don't have much use for this thing because I don't know how to use it. Niu Tianquang chuckled, then took out a storage bag and handed it to Qin Yun. This there is no need. Qin Yun smiled and said, I am quite embarrassed to accept such a precious thing. After all, this is something you have collected for many years. No need to be polite. Niu Tianquang said, although they are all iron ores after refining, there are still 500 to 600 gene. Sect Master Bei Feng didn't dare to say anything at this time. After all, this is old ancestor Floating Cloud. Moreover, he is also Niu Tianquang's savior. Old ancestor Floating Cloud once showed kindness to my Sangshuan sect. This junior had eyes, but could not see and was disrespectful to old ancestor. Please forgive me. Sect Master Sangshuan quickly handed over a storage bag and said, "This is 500 gene of instant space immortal iron. It is all refined." Qinyan felt that it was somewhat funny in his heart. It was fine if he was called uncle before, but now he was actually called old ancestor. Xian Yinyun was even more astonished. Of course, she had heard of the legend of old ancestor floating cloud. She didn't expect that her elder brother was actually the legendary old ancestor floating cloud. "I won't take your things for free. This is to thank you." Qin Yin took out 6 cloaks, 3 each from North Wind Valley and Sangshuan sect. What kind of cloak is this?" Niu Tianquang asked curiously. "Flying cloak. After you put it on, you can fly. The speed is also quite fast. Give it a try," Qin Yun said with a smile. "Old ancestor is really awesome." Niu Tianquang shouted in shock. "Old ancestor, you didn't even master this kind of rune in your previous life. Now you have mastered it with this cultivation. Amazing." Soon after, Qin Yun gave the remaining cloaks to Hong Quan Gang and others. Sect Master Bei Feng, Sect Master Sangshuan, and Old Man Liang were all very grateful and very excited, because the flying immortal robe was something they yearned for even in their dreams. After Niu Tianquang put on the flying cloak, he did as Qin Yun said and flew into the sky. "Ha ha! I can fly." Niu Tianquang laughed excitedly. "I will change my name to Niu Fei Tian in the future." Old Man Song, Hong Quan Gang, Sect Master Sangshuan, Sect Master Bei Feng, and others also put on the cloak and flew into the sky. Their mood was as excited as Niu Tianquang because they could finally fly in the sky easily. Li Longxian said with bright smile, "As expected of the legendary old ancestor Fuyun, your reputation is well-deserved. Junior truly looked down on people with dog eyes before. Senior is a great person and does not stoop to petty people's offenses. Please forgive me." While speaking, he handed over a silver crystal and said with smile, "This is Junior's small gift to old ancestor. 50 gene of sacred mysterious silver crystal. Longxian Xian sect is too polite." Qin Yun received the sacred mysterious silver crystal with smile. He now has 150 gene of sacred mysterious silver crystal and 2,000 gene of instant space immortal iron. "Do you want that flying cloak?" "I don't have any left. I will refine another one for you," Qin Yun said. "No need, no need," Li Longxian said. "This ship is enough for us. We also have flying immortal robes. Of course, they are not as good as seniors." Li Longxian is now trying to curry favor with Qin Yun because it is very rare for him to meet such an awesome person. Those people from Inscription World did not expect that this youngster with low cultivation would have such outstanding inscription level. Especially that flying cloak. It made them very envious. "You can all enter the cabin." Li Longxian dismissed those youngsters and middle-aged men and left. Qin Yun brought Xian Yinyun and followed Li Longxian to the side of the large ship. "Old ancestor Fuyun, you want to enter the Death Mountain evil jungle to find that mysterious head, right?" Li Longxian asked. Qin Yun nodded. "I searched for a very long time in my past life, but couldn't find it." Li Longxian sighed and said, "Since Senior wants to find it, then you must be determined to obtain it." "I won't participate." "Longxian sect, you were sent by the Inscription World. It won't be good for you to go back like this, right?" Qin Yun said. "I only came here to investigate the situation. What's more, they didn't send me many resources and manpower. Yet they want me to take the risk. I won't do it." Li Longxian already has a lot of resentment after being sent here. Qin Yun can see that Li Longxian is short on manpower, otherwise he would not have brought his children and grandchildren to this kind of place. "Longxian sect, how much do you know about that head?" Qin Yun asked. Chapter 1532. Two Dragon Totem Hong Quan Gang and company are flying around in the sky and even competing in speed. Li Longxian looked at the sky and said, "Regarding the secret of the 9 suns, the Divine Inscription Palace in the Inscription World also wants to figure it out. This is also the reason why we are looking for that head. Longxian Xian sect, you must have some other request for giving me such a generous gift." right? Qin Yun looked at the storage bag in his hand and said with a smile, Senior, I have encountered a problem regarding inscription. I want to ask Senior to help me solve it. If Senior can help me solve it, I can immediately return to the inscription world and achieve meteoric success. If Senior goes to the inscription world in the future, I will definitely repay you again. Li Longxian also directly spoke about his own matter. Tell me about it, Qin Yun said. Li Longxian quickly took out 2 stone slabs and said in a low voice, These 2 stone slabs were originally connected together, but they were cut off by someone. Moreover, there are 2 totems on the stone slabs. Senior, can you tell what totems they are? The 2 stone slabs Li Longxian took out are square and half a meter wide. He placed them on the ground. The totem runes on them are very faint, light red in color. Some of the inscriptions were even deliberately worn down by people to prevent others from obtaining them. With a glance, Qin Yun knew that they are 2 different dragon totems. It's 2 dragon totems, Qin Yun said. It's been destroyed to this extent, and you can still recognize it. Senior is indeed brilliant. Li Longxian knows that Qin Yun has the Beast King inscription spirit. Qin Yun smiled and said, These 2 dragon totems are both Saint-tier dragon totems. That's right. Li Longxian is even more astonished because he had studied it for a long time before he could figure out what kind of totem it was. However, Qin Yun could tell with a glance. Senior, if you can repair these 2 sets of dragon totems, you can also obtain them. And with these 2 sets of dragon totems, after I take them back, I will be able to receive the attention of my family, and my position in the family will rise rapidly, Li Longxian said. Previously, Xiao family's patriarch Xiao Hua said that he would bring Qin Yun to the inscription world. Qin Yun also planned on going to the inscription world to take a look. If Li Longxian could do well in the inscription world, it would definitely be much more convenient for him to go there in the future. I can repair it, but I need some time. Can you temporarily leave these 2 stone slabs with me? Qin Yun said. Of course. Li Longxian was very excited and said with a smile, Senior, feel free to take it. I will wait for you here during this period of time. Don't worry, if the Xieyang race dares to mess around, I will definitely deal with them. Qin Yun put away the 2 stone slabs and said, Longxian sect, these 2 stone slabs were originally connected together. Later on, they were broken by someone. What's the reason? I don't know. I obtained these 2 stone slabs by chance. They are something that came from the long family of the inscription world. Li Longxian looked around and said in a low voice, Actually, I got them from robbing a tomb. In the inscription world, I am very familiar with a fellow from the Long family. When he was protecting the Long family's mausoleum's formation, I secretly entered a tomb and found it. Was it destroyed to begin with? Asked Qin Yun. Li Longxian nodded his head. In the inscription world, there are many damaged totems and runes. Qin Yun is not at all unfamiliar with Dragon Totem. Back then, he encountered a 9-dragon immortal origin formation and obtained 9 types of Dragon Totem from it. Longxian sect. Long family should have mastered 9 types of Dragon Totem, right? Qin Yun asked again. Of course not. They actually don't have complete mastery. Although they have 9 Dragon Totem items, they can only see the bright lines and not the dark lines. Li Longxian shook his head and said with sigh, Our Li family also has many similar things. Longxian sect, I have a conjecture in my heart. The Dragon Totem on those 2 stone slabs can be fused into one. Qin Yun suddenly said, If 2 types of Dragon Totem fuse together, it will definitely be more powerful than a single one. Qin Yun fused with 9 types of Heavenly Lion Totem. That power is extremely dreadful. Even he is somewhat unable to control it. Really? How do I fuse them? Li Longxian immediately became excited. He is very excited. I don't know. I will give it a try. I will return to Floating Cloud, Heavenly Mountain, and enter seclusion. I will drive the ship to send you back, so that you won't be ambushed by those bastards from Xieyang race. Li Longxian is now extremely respectful towards Qin Yun. All right, Qin Yun laughed. Your ship's stern was destroyed by me. Can it still fly? It's fine, it can still fly. Li Longxian chuckled and said, "Senior, that rod of yours is truly awesome. It almost destroyed my ship. This is my family property." Xian Yun is also very happy on this ship. She admires Qin Yun even more. She knows that her brother is very awesome. After the ship flew up, Qin Yun said to Hong Guanggang, "Old Hong, I want to return to Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain." Old Man Song and Niu Tianquang are currently competing in flying speed. When they heard Qin Yun shout, they immediately flew over and landed on the ship. After experiencing the flying cloak, Old Man Song and others repeatedly exclaimed in admiration. This is something that they have been unable to research for many years. "Longxian sect wants to send me back." Qin Yun said, "We will also send you back. We will fly and escort you from the side." Hong Guanggang said with smile, "Li Longxian, let's see if your ship is faster or if we fly faster." "Oh, that's right, old Hong. Can you lend me that great dragon sacred cannon to take a look? I will return it to you in a few days." Qin Yun asked, "What do you mean lend?" "That is what old ancestor gave us back then. I will give it back to you now." Hong Guanggang said with smile, "Old ancestor, your cultivation is very weak now. You will definitely need this kind of sacred tool." After speaking, he took out a golden cylinder. It looks like a bamboo tube. It is not very long and also not very big. There is an exquisite dragon coiling around its surface. The mouth of the cannon is a dragon head with its mouth open. Qin Yun finally saw the great dragon sacred cannon. After he took it, he discovered that there are two buckles that can be fastened on his arm. This way, he can just raise his arm and fire it at a distance. He never thought that he could do this before. "I will borrow it for a few days to learn from it. I don't want this thing. I want to refine one that suits me." Qin Yun said with smile, "If you refine it yourself, it will be more convenient to use. Moreover, you don't need to refine anything." "That's true," Hong Guanggang said with smile. Qin Yun placed the great dragon sacred cannon into the nine-sun divine soul and gave it to Mo to see the runes and totems inside. Less than half a day later, the large ship arrived above the floating cloud Heavenly Mountain. The disciples on the peak of the floating cloud Heavenly Mountain became very nervous when they saw the large ship arrive. When they saw Qin Yun, Hong Guanggang, and the other older generation come down, they all breathed a sigh of relief. What shocked these disciples the most is that the people of the three great sects and Li Longxian from the inscription world have returned happily and harmoniously. After Qin Yun returned, he promptly brought Xian Yun and entered the huge floating cloud heavenly pagoda. There's also a cloud dragon pagoda inside the floating cloud heavenly pagoda. Qin Yun stored it and handed it over to Xian Yun. Xian Yun said that she wants the cloud dragon pagoda mainly to commemorate it. The space-time gate inside the cloud dragon pagoda is a one-time use only. And now, Sanchuan sect master Bei Feng and others want to tour the interior of the floating cloud heavenly pagoda. So the interior of the floating cloud heavenly pagoda is like this. Sanchuan sect master said, "I thought there would be something special here. We also participated in the construction back then." Niu Tianquang mischievously laughed and said, "How nostalgic." Old Man Song nodded and said, "Me and old Ox learned inscription from old ancestor floating cloud for a very long time at that time. Below is the blood of the floating cloud heavenly mountain. It is a bit of energy." Qin Yun said, "So that's how it is? It looks like water." Sect Master Bei Feng said. Soon after, they all left one after another because they know that Qin Yun is busy with his matters. After they all left, only Xian Yun stayed behind to accompany Qin Yun. Qin Yun asked her to accompany him because Xian Yun sensed that Siekaru's main body is about to arrive. "Big brother, I did not expect you to be the legendary floating cloud ancestor. No wonder you could guide me inside the cloud dragon pagoda," Xian Yun said with sweet smile. Qin Yun smiled and caressed her gentle and charming face. He said, "Little Nian Yun, if you feel something calling out to you, you must tell me immediately." "And I know." Xian Yun nodded and said. Qin Yun took out the two stone slabs and let Mo come out to help repair them. After Mo came out, Her eyes released two blue light that shined on one of the stone slabs. She said with frown, "Big brother, is this a dragon totem? It is a bit different from the dragon totem you control." Different? This is a sacred tier dragon totem. It should be normal for it to be different. Qin Yun asked. There are 9 types of dragon totem, but the dragon totem in front of me is different from the 9 I control. Mo suddenly said, "Big brother, this dragon totem in front of me is the same as the heavenly lion totem you carved with the floating cloud divine needle." Qin Yun promptly took out the floating cloud divine needle and released the needle spirit cultivated inside the nether moon into the needle. The floating cloud divine needle seems to have transformed into a dragon. It is as if a small dragon is coiling around it. Could it be? These 2 stone slabs are the dragon totem I carved with the floating cloud divine needle? Qin Yun is very shocked. It shouldn't be carved by Big Brother because there is no Big Brother's blood spirit power aura. It must be carved by someone else. Mo said again, "I can repair it, but it will take a bit of time." Qin Yun nodded, then placed the 2 stone slabs and Mo into the 9 sun divine soul. He looked at the floating cloud divine needle and felt very astonished in his heart. When carving runes on the floating cloud divine needle, it will naturally bring along a different kind of rune. Therefore, the runes carved are not the original, but they are much stronger than the original. Qin Yun and Xian Yun are cultivating inside the floating cloud heavenly pagoda. At night, Xian Yun, who is cultivating, suddenly opened her eyes and said in low voice, "Big brother, I sense that the person who called me has arrived in the great dragon desolate domain." Did he just arrive? Qin Yun asked. And should we go over? Xian Yun asked. Chapter 1533. Last Chance. At night, Qin Yun and Xian Yun left floating cloud heavenly mountain. Xian Yun could sense the direction of the voice calling her. She flew over with Qin Yun. As he flew over, Qin Yun realized that the direction he was flying in was the lake that he had followed the little old man to. The lake was the passageway to the great dragon desolate domain, and only a few people knew about it. The lake was not far from the floating clouds heavenly mountain. After flying for an hour, they arrived at a valley. It's in the valley below. "Big brother, I'm a little scared." Xian Yun pulled Qin Yun's hand and said softly. A trace of fear appeared on her face. "I'm here, don't be afraid." Qin Yun gently touched her face, then pulled her and slowly descended into the valley. There was a lake in the valley with many tall grasses. At this time, there was only a crescent moon in the sky, and the stars were dim. There were not many glowing flowers and plants in the valley, so it looked somewhat dark and cold. "Where?" whispered Qin Yun. "Over there." Xian Yun pointed in a direction. It was all grass. Qin Yun slightly released a bit of his aura, causing Xian Yun to be somewhat startled. She doesn't know why Qin Yun suddenly released his aura. Qin Yun was probing whether the person who came was Xie Qiru or not. If Xie Qiru came, they would know each other. "Big brother, be careful." Xian Yun looked around and whispered in fear. Qin Yun released his mental power to sense the situation around him, but he could not sense any aura at all. Xie Qiru's concealment ability is still very strong. Furthermore, she has a little gray cat that can control the power of space. Suddenly, a shadow jumped out of the bushes and quickly scurried to the other side of the bushes. This caused Xian Yun to cry out in surprise. Could it not be Sister Ko? Qin Yun is puzzled. Then he pulled Xian Yun and chased after her. Just as he went over, the person who was hiding scurried to the other side. "Brother, what is that? Why can you summon me over? Is this a trap?" Xian Yun whispered. "Why don't we go back? I don't want to harm you." "It's all right." Qin Yun slowly walked over. This time, when he approached the bush, the person inside did not come out. Qin Yun probed with his mental power, but did not discover anything. He also could not see anything with his extinction spirit eye. He could only go over and push aside the grass. After pushing aside the bushes, he saw a delicate and cute little face of a girl. She was making faces and sticking out her tongue, trying to scare people. "Sister Qiru, it really is you, haha." When Qin Yun saw the cute little girl wearing white skirt, he couldn't help but laugh. Then he extended his hand to pinch her cute little face. Siek Kiru pouted and said in low voice, "Xiao Yun, can't you cooperate a bit and pretend to be scared by Sister Kiru? You don't give me a sense of accomplishment. You are very cute, even when you are making a face. You can't scare me." Qin Yun giggled and pinched the incomparably cute face lovingly. At this time, Xian Yun also walked over. After seeing Siek Kiru, she was so shocked that she opened her small mouth, speechless. Why does she look exactly like me when I was young?" Xian Yun exclaimed. "Little Yun, this is my lovely and beautiful sister Kiru." Qin Yun laughed. Then he said to Siek Kiru, "Sister Kiru, this is my lovely and beautiful little Yun. Her full name is Xian Yun." Like a little girl, she looked at the gentle and beautiful woman wearing snow-white long skirt in front of her and said with sweet smile, "Yun, isn't this the name I used before I lost my memory?" Xian Yun suspiciously looked at the lovely little girl in front of her. She can't help but extend her hand to touch that lovely little face. "I am your long-lost big sister," Siek Kiru said with charming smile. "Little Yun, from now on you are my little sister." I am older than you. Why am I your little sister?" Xian Yun looked at Qin Yun with blank expression. "Little Yun, you call Xiao Yun big brother. Xiao Yun calls me big sister Kiru, so I'm older than you, right?" Siek Kiru stuck out her small tongue and said with charming smile. Qin Yun suddenly discovered that not only this sister Kiru is as gentle as water, she also has a mischievous side. Xian Yun nodded and said in low voice, "Big sister, why can you call me? Moreover, you have become so small, you look exactly the same as me when I was little. Little Yun, I am your twin big sister. Because something happened to me, I turned into a little girl. We can communicate telepathically, so you can know that I am here," Siek Kiru said with charming smile. Qin Yun can also see that Siek Kiru doesn't want to tell Xian Yun about the clone. If they call each other sister, then Xian Yun can feel familial affection. So it's like this, "Hello, big sister." Xian Yun very quickly accepted, then hugged Siek Kiru and kissed her lovely little face. "Let's go. We will talk after we go to Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain," Siek Kiru said with charming smile. "Big sister, I will carry you to fly." Xian Yun squatted down. She wants to carry Siek Kiru on her back. "All right. Thank you, little sister." Siek Kiru is also very happy. She said with gentle smile, and then lied down on Xian Yun's back. Xian Yun flew to the sky. Qin Yun watched from the side and secretly sighed with emotion. The young Siek Kiru met her grown-up clone. Along the way, Siek Kiru also learned about Xian Yun's situation. The two of them chatted very happily. After returning to the Floating Cloud Heavenly Pagoda, Siek Kiru is not unfamiliar with this place at all. She said, "It's still the same, not a bit changed. Little Yun, you rest here by yourself. I will let Xiao Yun take me out for a walk." "All right." Xian Yun nodded. She is also very obedient to her big sister. She is now very fond of this cute little sister who is like a little girl. Qin Yun left the Floating Cloud Heavenly Pagoda with Siek Kiru and arrived outside. "Let's go up." Siek Kiru looked at the top of the Floating Cloud Heavenly Pagoda and said with gentle smile, "Bring me up." Qin Yun brought Siek Kiru and flew to the top of the pagoda. They sat there and looked at the stars in the sky. "Sister Kiru, is little Yun your clone?" Qin Yun asked. "Yes and no." Siek Kiru looked at the crescent moon in the sky and faintly sighed. "If I need her body, then she will be my clone." "So little Yun is gone?" Qin Yun asked. "Of course she is. I don't want her body. She can be free and unfettered forever." Siek Kiru laughed and said, "Xiao Yun, let me take a look at your Floating Cloud Heavenly Seal." Qin Yun took out a pearl and imprint and said, "I am still missing the third part." Siek Kiru took it and looked at it, then gave it back to Qin Yun and said with smile, "You will definitely find a third part. So long as we obtain the Floating Cloud Heavenly Seal and find the Heaven Leaping Shuttle, we will go to the Cloud Dragon Mountain Range." "Sister Kiru, are you Moon God?" Qin Yun caressed her little face and said with curled lips, "Why are you hiding so many things from me? I don't want you to know too much, so as not to evoke too many memories in you." Siakaru lightly sighed and said, "In your past life, because you suddenly awakened Sun God's memories, you courted death." Qin Yun can now finally confirm that he was once Sun God. After Sun God died, he became Immortal King Floating Cloud. Later, Immortal King Floating Cloud also died. Xiao Yun, you should know, you will know in the future. In the current situation, the later you awaken your memories, the more beneficial it will be for you. Siakaru used her small hand to caress Qin Yun's cheek. "Oh, that's right, Sister Kiru. Do you know where Immortal Desolate Sacred Master's head is? In my past life, I searched here for a period of time, but I couldn't find it." "What's going on?" Qin Yun asked. "Back then, I came here with you and asked you to search for it. At that time, only our puppet avatars came in, so we couldn't find it for a very long time." Siakaru said, "Now we must find that head. What is the use of Immortal Desolate Sacred Master's head? I heard that we can ask about Nine-Yang Divine Palace." Qin Yun said, "The main reason I am looking for that head is to restore Moon God's God position." Siakaru said somewhat sadly, "My God position was destroyed and sealed inside the Cloud Dragon Mountain range. My Moon God body is also inside." "Moon God body? Isn't it Immortal Devil Sacred Body?" Qin Yun said in shock. "Originally, it was Immortal Devil Sacred Body, but later it evolved inside. My body will become Divine Body when the time comes. Now, it is almost time." Siakaru touched Qin Yun's hand and said in soft voice, "Xiao Yun, there are many things sealed inside. They were sealed inside by Xieyang race and 8 nine-sun sects. Among them are your most important 8 spiritual souls and 9 spirits." 8 spiritual souls and 9 spirits? Qin Yun is somewhat amazed. "One of your spiritual souls managed to escape. It brought along a portion of your Sun God memories. But the rest of the 8 spiritual souls and 9 spirits are sealed inside." Siakaru faintly sighed. "If we can't take back what belongs to us this time, we won't have another chance." Why?" Qin Yun asked in amazement. "Because the Cloud Dragon Mountain range will be destroyed along with Immortal Desolate and Sacred Desolate. The next sun will fall and destroy Immortal Desolate and Sacred Desolate." Siakaru said, "We will surely get it back." Qin Yun very confidently said, "Xiao Yun, is the Nether Sun spirit you found in ancient domains still there?" Siakaru asked, "Is still there." Qin Yun said, "What is its use? Didn't you say you want to find all 9? I only have one now. Sister Kiru, do you want the Nether Sun spirit?" Qin Yun has obtained the Nether Sun spirit for some time now, but he doesn't know how to use it. Back then, Siakaru also said she wanted it. "Let me take a look first," Siakaru said. Qin Yun released the Nether Sun spirit. It is a round black energy ball. It can become very big or very small. "Xiao Yun, store the Nether Sun spirit inside the 9 Sun Divine Soul. Place 1 Nether Sun spirit in each pearl." Siakaru said, "I only have 1 Nether Sun spirit now." Qin Yun very curiously said, "What is the use of the Nether Sun spirit?" "When 9 Sun Divine Soul and 9 Nether Sun spirit fuse together, a special sun can be born inside the pearl. This kind of sun has the characteristics of both pure sun and Nether Sunday. Of course, I will only explain it briefly. When the time comes, I will need to cooperate with my 9 Divine Soul. The process is very complicated and requires a great amount of divine power." Siakaru returned the Nether Sun spirit to Qin Yun. Qin Yun is amazed in his heart. He placed the Nether Sun spirit inside the 9 Sun Divine Soul. Chapter 1534. Chapter 1534. Divine Pill. If the 9 Sun Divine Spirit has a son, then wouldn't the 9 Sun Divine Hammer be completely resurrected? Qin Yun very happily said, "Mm." Siakaru nodded and said with smile, "There is a Nether Sun Spirit in Immortal Desolate. I will help you find it." "Sister Kiru, Will there be any danger? Qin Yun somewhat anxiously asked. Don't worry. It will be fine. Siakuru gently smiled. Xiao Yun, don't worry. I will find the Nether Sun Spirit in Immortal Desolate. You stay here and look for the head of the Immortal Desolate, Sacred Master. Qin Yun is still somewhat worried because Siakuru's cultivation is not high. He caressed Siakuru's delicate face and said with curled lips, Your cultivation is not even as high as mine. Xiao Yun, you are only 7th stage Dao Immortal. I will surpass you very soon. Siakuru smiled. Her eyes flashed with a mysterious light. Oh, that's right. I cultivated together with little Ninyun before. My Nether Sun totem and her Nether Moon totem fused together. It allowed our cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds. Qin Yun immediately told Siakuru about the cultivation process. After Siakuru heard this, she felt somewhat surprised and said, Xiao Yun, I will also cultivate together with you in the future. Let's give it a try. Let's go down. Let's go see little Ninyun. Siakuru said, I want to use a secret method with her. This way my cultivation will be the same as hers. She is my avatar. So long as I use this secret method, my cultivation will be the same as my avatar's. There is such a method? Qin Yun is very amazed. He said with envious smile, Sister Kuru, do you think I have other avatars? No, Siakuru said with smile. You don't have a complete 9 spirit and 9 spirit. You can't create this kind of avatar. Relying on one spirit, being able to reincarnate twice is already very awesome. Qin Yun suddenly felt that he has suffered a loss. Soon after, he brought Siakuru down and entered the floating cloud heavenly pagoda. He let Siakuru and Xian Yinyan be alone inside, so as not to disturb their cultivation. Qin Yun looked at the bracelet on his wrist and said in his heart, I still can't open the 5th pearl of 9 Sun Divine Spirit, but I feel that I will be able to open it soon. Xiao Yun, that heaven-leaping shuttle is indeed a very important item. Ling Yun said, There's also the Cloud Dragon mountain range. It's a very special space that allows powerful immortals to enter. At that moment, Qin Yun also knew what was in the immortal graveyard. There were his 8 souls and 9 spirits. Other than that, there were definitely other things. It should be those that were difficult to destroy, which was why they were sealed. Qin Yun took out the floating cloud pagoda and entered it, arriving at the 20th floor. The star god had said that she would give him something. He wanted to see if the star god was available. The star god altar in the floating cloud pagoda had also become an 18-layered altar. Big sister star god. Qin Yun shouted a few times, and soon there was a response. Xiao Yun, it's convenient for me to give you something now. The star god didn't appear, only her gentle voice came. Qin Yun took out a soul-sealing pearl and released the remnant souls he collected. They transformed into sacrificial power for the star god to absorb. Has the Moon Palace's star god altar been completed? Qin Yun asked. It has been completed. This time, I was more careful, so I wasn't discovered by those guys. Big sister now has 2 very powerful star god altars. Thank you very much, Xiao Yun. Star god laughed very happily. I'll send you something now. Big sister star god, I am in urgent need of breakthrough. Give me some divine liquid or something. Qin Yun said with smile. Are you in a hurry to steadily increase your cultivation? I have something better than divine liquid. Star god very mysteriously smiled and said, Prepare to receive it. At the top of the small and exquisite altar, a burst of intense spatial fluctuation suddenly rushed out, and a small white bottle appeared. After the small white bottle appeared, the bottle suddenly cracked. There are divine pills inside. Quickly preserve them. Star god said anxiously, because we passed through the spatial passage, the bottle was damaged, and a lot of the energy inside the divine pill must have been lost. Divine pill. Qin Yun is extremely shocked and promptly took out a jade box. At this time, the bottle also broke. There are several pills inside, but only one is emitting golden light. The others are dark and black. Only one divine pill has been barely preserved. Qin Yun said with some heartache. Xiao Yun, it is mainly because I'm being watched very strictly. I can't do as I please, Otherwise, I would have been able to give you even more good things. Star God faintly sighed. Originally, Star God did not want to give Qin Yun the divine pill, but Qin Yun said that he wants to quickly increase his cultivation, so he changed it. Then which one is better than divine liquid? Qin Yun asked. Of course it is divine pill. Try it, and you will know it is much better than divine liquid. It can let your cultivation increase by a lot. Star God said with smile. Qin Yun is very happy in his heart. Although there's only one, it is after all a divine pill. Being able to eat a divine pill in Immortal Desolate is a very rare opportunity. Because Star God is under strict supervision, she cannot use the huge spatial passage between Divine Desolate and Immortal Desolate. This kind of passage can be used by everyone, but she is restricted from using it. Now, she can only secretly use other very small spatial passage, so she cannot transport many things. But there's an advantage. Star God's whereabouts will not be easily exposed. Moreover, after accepting Qin Yun's death sacrifice a few times, her cultivation has increased by a lot. Sister Star God, have you heard of Immortal Desolate Sacred Master? Qin Yun asked. I have. That guy was in charge of maintaining order in Immortal Desolate, but because he meddled in other people's business, he was killed in Immortal Desolate. He should not be dead. He is just hiding. Star God said. So it's like that. Qin Yun thought about it with frown and asked again. Then Sister Star God, how can I find that guy? Then he told Star God about the situation in Great Dragon Desolate Domain. He also told her that Moon God Siekaru is here. Star God originally wanted to meet Siekaru, but because she doesn't dare to contact Qin Yun for a long time, she can only do it next time. If the head of the Immortal Desolate Sacred Master is really in that desolate domain, then when you get close to that area, just take out your deity position. The Star God quickly said, I will say this much first. Qin Yun nodded, then picked up the small golden statue and said with smile, I did not expect this god position to be so useful. He walked out of the floating cloud pagoda and hastily entered the huge heavenly pagoda. After entering, he saw Siekaru and Xian Yun cultivating together with their palms touching. And Siekaru's cultivation is also rapidly rising. This kind of breakthrough method is truly refreshing. Qin Yun exclaimed in admiration in his heart. Not long after, Siekaru's cultivation became the same as Xian Yun's, 9th stage Tao Immortal. I did not expect that the Cloud Dragon Pagoda back then would create this kind of opportunity to meet. Truly miraculous. Siekaru muttered. She and Xian Yun's soul fused earlier, so she can see Xian Yun's memories. She knows how Qin Yun and Xian Yun met. Sister Karu, what's going on with the Cloud Dragon Pagoda's space-time domain? Qin Yun curiously asked. It's caused by the heaven-leaping shuttle, Siekaru said with light smile. Qin Yun walked over and touched Siekaru and Xian Yun's faces with both hands. One big and one small beautiful face made Qin Yun feel very happy. He happily laughed. Siekaru said with smile, When I was little, I really shouldn't have touched your face. Now you're always copying me. What's going on with the heaven-leaping shuttle? Qin Yun asked. Space God gave it to you. That guy is a very special existence in Divine Desolate. He owed you. So he gave it to you so that you can use the heaven-leaping shuttle to save yourself. Siekaru lightly sighed. Back then, you lent it to my previous life, Siekaru. After I obtained it, it was snatched away by Immortal Desolate Great Emperor, and then you got it back. Qin Yun thought that the heaven-leaping shuttle originally belonged to Immortal Desolate Great Emperor. He did not expect that there would be such twists and turns. And Xiao Yuanmei and the others don't know about this. He suddenly realized that Immortal Desolate Great Emperor must be looking for the heaven-leaping shuttle in the Cloud Dragon Mountain Range. All right, I want to leave this place and find the Nether Sun Spirit. Siekaru laughed and pulled Xian Yun's little hand. Big sister, you want to leave so quickly? I still want to stay with you for a while. Xian Yun is very reluctant to part with this big sister. She pouted and said, Sister Karu, don't leave first. I obtained a divine pill. Star God gave it to me, Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. Then he told Siak Karu about what happened between him and Star God. After Siak Karu finished listening, she said with smile, Star God must be very eager for us to go to Divine Desolate. Once Moon God and Sun God return, Star God will not be bullied so miserably. We must quickly go to Divine Desolate. Qin Yun took out a divine pill and said with smile, Let's cultivate together. Qin Yun is even more confident in finding that head because he has the Sun God's divine position in his hand. He can sense that head. Next, Qin Yun and Siak Karu cultivated together. Siak Karu is the most proficient in cultivating Sun and Moon Heart Sutra. Qin Yun is finally able to cultivate together with Siak Karu. He is very happy in his heart. Xiao Yun, eat the divine pill and let me control it. Little Yin Yun, leave everything to me, Siak Karu said with light smile. I will listen to Big Sister. Xian Yin nodded and said. Qin Yun ate the divine pill and immediately let out a low roar, because the divine power that burst out of his body is very dreadful. Luckily, I have immortal devil sacred body, Siak Karu said in amazement. Qin Yun is now holding Siak Karu and Xian Yun's hands. He can sense that they are extracting the divine pill's power from his body. After circulating it once, the divine pill's divine power became very gentle and also increased by a lot. And now, Nether Sun Totem appeared on Qin Yun's arms. Nether Moon Totem appeared on Siak Karu and Xian Yun's arms. Qin Yun suddenly discovered that Siak Karu's usage of Sun and Moon Heart Sutra is very brilliant. She is much more proficient than other women. Not long after, Xian Yun and Siak Karu broke through to Golden Immortal Realm. Their bodies overflowed with golden immortal energy. And Qin Yun also sensed that the Nether Sun Totem on the small divine hammer formed from heavenly Tao, flames, frantic power, quickly appeared. His cultivation is also soaring. This kind of breakthrough speed is much faster than using sacred infant fruit. He let Mo come out and absorb the energy released by Siak Karu and Xian Yun. Daybreak. A large ship is floating on top of the floating cloud heavenly mountain. Li Longxian is standing on the deck, looking at the gradually growing black, evil sun in the distant sky. He said with frown, Not good. Evil sun is getting closer. We cannot let them control Great Dragon Desolate Domain. The gradually growing evil sun released waves of black energy that covered the radiance of the other three suns, causing the sky to turn dusky. Chapter 1535. Golden Immortal Realm. Qin Yun has now broken through to 8th level Tao Immortal Realm and will soon become a 9th level Tao Immortal. The effect of the divine power contained in the divine pill is indeed very strong. Xiao Yun, after you enter 8th level Tao Immortal Realm, I will leave. I want to quickly return to Immortal Desolate. I am worried that those Xie Yang people are also looking for Nether Sun spirits. Siak Karu said, All right, I will cultivate together with Little Yin Yun. Qin Yun nodded. Little Yin Yun, I just passed on the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra to you. You must properly remember it. Siak Karu said, Got it, Big Sister. Xian Yun is now a golden immortal. She knows that she will have to enter the Death Mountain Evil Forest with Qin Yun to protect him. Qin Yun and others are cultivating inside the floating cloud heavenly pagoda. They don't know the situation of Xie Yang outside. The sky of the Great Dragon Desolate Domain is filled with gloomy evil energy. It is blocking the sunlight and causing the Great Dragon Desolate Domain to become very cold. Outside, everyone was in a state of panic, especially those weak people. They already know that Xie Yang race is a very dangerous existence. And now that they see Xie Yang's great power, they are very worried that they will be killed by him. Li Longxian is standing on the large ship. He said with frown, Didn't those Xie Yang race people get some territory? Why did they make such a big move? Could it be that they really want to clash with the three great sects? Sect Master Tsang Xuan, Sect Master Bei Feng, and Hong Quangang put on their flying capes and flew onto the giant ship. Did those Xie Yang race people come to find you? Li Longxin asked. They are making such a big move. I wonder what they are trying to do. They came to find us and said that floating cloud old ancestor killed their 2 dragons. They want to take revenge and make floating cloud heavenly mountain pay the price. They don't want us to participate, Sect Master said. Li Longxian looked at the 3 sect masters and asked, Then what do you think? Hong Guanggang said with smile. Of course we want to participate. Floating cloud heavenly mountain belongs to floating cloud old ancestor. We can't just watch it get destroyed by Xie Yang race. Longxin Xin sect, what about you? Are you planning to protect the floating clouds heavenly mountain together? Sect Master Bei Feng asked. Of course I will. It's just that I should discuss this matter with Senior. Li Longxian said, Senior might have some other way to deal with it? That's true. I just don't know what his situation is now. Hong Guanggang said, Let's go down and take a look. Hong Guanggang led them to the gate of the floating cloud sky tower. Ancestor floating cloud, is it convenient now? Sect Master Bei Feng called out. What's the matter? Qinyan asked after hearing the voice inside. The Xie Yang race is making a big move. Their Xie Yang is gradually approaching and releasing a black evil mist that enveloped the entire Great Dragon Desolate Domain. Li Longxian said, Because Senior killed those 2 dragons, they want to destroy Floating Cloud's heavenly mountain. We plan to mobilize disciples and elders to protect Floating Cloud's heavenly mountain. Hong Guanggang said. When Qinyan heard this, he thought for a moment and replied, You guys stay put. The floating cloud heavenly mountain's barrier is very strong. They won't be able to break it. Sect Master Songshuan worriedly said, Will it really be okay? We are still quite worried. Many powerful fellows from the Xie Yang race have come. Li Longxian also nodded and said, That Xie Yang has become even bigger. It is very likely that Xie Yang will release its power to attack Floating Cloud's heavenly mountain. Xie Karu said to Qin Yun in low voice, Xiao Yun, don't be afraid of that Xie Yang. If that thing was really that strong, the Xie Yang race would have already swept through the immortal desolate. Is it really that weak? Qin Yun saw that Xie Yang before and felt that it was a very big threat. That Xie Yang is at most like the sun altar, able to condense very strong power to attack. This Floating Clouds heavenly mountain has very strong defense. Back then you very attentively laid down the formation. Xie Qiru said. Xian Yun said, Big brother, this mountain's blood transformed into this kind of energy. Its defense must be very strong. Qin Yun nodded his head and then said to the people outside, You all better protect your own territory. I am worried that the Xie Yang race will make a ruckus in the east and attack in the west. If you all gather at Floating Clouds heavenly mountain, they might attack your territory. Don't be fooled by them. Qin Yun truly has this kind of consideration. The few old foxes outside also thought of this. Hearing Qin Yun's words, they secretly nodded their heads. Senior, then we will go back first. Songshuan's sect master said. Quickly go back. Everyone, properly defend your own territory. Don't let the Xie Yang race break through. We don't understand the power of the Xie Yang race. We also don't know what methods they use. We also don't know where they are hiding. Without sufficient preparation, don't fight them. The Xie Yang race has all kinds of methods. If they go out to deal with them, they might be toyed to death with all kinds of methods. The 3 sect masters all left. Li Longxuan's large ship also landed on top of Floating Cloud's heavenly mountain. Inside the barrier is relatively safe. Xie Qiru said with some worry. Xiao Yun, the Xie Yang race is speeding up. I don't know what the situation is like in Immortal Desolate. Immortal Desolate is a big piece of fat meat for the Xie Yang race. They are wantonly plundering the resources of Immortal Desolate. These bastards, Qin Yun cursed in low voice. The Xie Yang race has always been like this. It is also because they are not strong enough, otherwise they would have already controlled the 9 suns. Let's cultivate seriously. Xie Qiru said. One day passed by. The divine pill's power has still not been completely refined, and Qin Yun has finally broken through to 8th stage Dao Immortal. Xie Qiru also left at this time. Before leaving, she is somewhat reluctant to part with Xian Yin. They hugged each other and kissed each other's cheeks, then reluctantly said goodbye. Xie Keru is a golden immortal. Qin Yun is not too worried about her. After all, she is a moon god. Her cultivation technique is also very strong. Sister Kiru's current cultivation is higher than mine, and she has the 9 Yin divine spirit. She can sense the location of the Nether Sun spirits. That is why she wants to personally take action to find them. Qin Yun said in his heart, 9 Nether Sun spirits, it will be very difficult to find them. Sister Kiru has the 9 Yin divine spirit. She should be able to find them. It will just take some time. Ling Yuner said, and Qin Yun is now at ease cultivating with Xian Yin. The divine pill has a lot of energy. It makes Qin Yun feel that it is inconceivable. If he could get a few more, his cultivation would definitely be higher. What caused him to be most apprehensive is that the divine pill was damaged during teleportation and lost a lot of energy. But now the energy is still very fierce. When he was cultivating with Xie Ninyan inside the Cloud Dragon Pagoda, he could only cultivate the needle spirit inside the Nether Moon. And after eating the divine pill, both Nether Sun and Nether Moon can cultivate at the same time. After becoming a golden immortal, my mental power will surely increase sharply. Qin Yun is secretly looking forward to it, because at that time, he might be able to smoothly open the 5th pearl of the 9 Sun Divine Spirit. Xian Yun can also use the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra with ease. She is at the same level as Xie Keru. Qin Yun secretly guessed that Xie Keru and her doppelgangers have a kind of synchronization ability. Not only can they synchronize their cultivation, they can also comprehend the cultivation techniques they have grasped and even their memories. This way, Xin Yun can grasp many things in a short while. Xiao Yun, maybe Sister Rujing and Sister Lingxue, can also synchronize their cultivation. Ling Yuner said with smile, it is very possible that Xian Lingxue is Xian Rujing's doppelganger. It must be known that Xian Rujing is now an immortal emperor. If she and Xian Lingxue synchronize, it will be 2 immortal emperors. Qin Yun is even more envious of those doppelgangers. They're simply breaking the rules. Other people have 9 spiritual souls and 9 physical souls. I actually only have 1 soul. Qin Yun also wants to cultivate this kind of doppelganger technique. Xiao Yun, hurry up and cultivate that sacred sun spirit vein of yours into an immortal vein. Ling Yuner said with mischievous smile, so long as you and Sister Rujing succeed and fuse with her dual spirit 8 sun immortal vein, both of you will be able to cultivate 9 sacred sun immortal veins and then cultivate 9 sacred sun veins. You will be truly unparalleled. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, she is an aloof ice and snow goddess. Moreover, she is an immortal emperor. If I go with her, won't I just be courting death? She also said that her cultivation is higher than mine by a lot. She will torment me to death. That's true. This kind of matter cannot be rushed. Ling Yuner lightly sighed and said, Xiao Yun, you can only blame yourself for this. You had so many chances to cultivate to fruition before, but you did not grasp them and missed a good opportunity. Really? When did I ever get a chance? That Ice Mother Tigress is very fierce. Qin Yun curled his lips and said, Xiao Yun, you're the sun god. She is a little ice and snow goddess. She will definitely submit to you. Ling Yuner charmingly smiled and said, even Star God likes you very much. Qin Yun laughed a few times and said, that's because I am handsome. Xian Yun is very earnestly cultivating. She is leading the cultivation of Sun and Moon Heart Sutra. She doesn't know that Qin Yun is letting his imagination run wild. After 3 days of cultivation, Qin Yun finally broke through to Golden Immortal Realm. Heavenly Tao Proud Power transformed into a small divine hammer and became even more formidable. Furthermore, after Qin Yun released Golden Immortal Power, after passing through the Nether Sun Totem, the Nether Sun Totem turned golden. These past few days, MOMO has been absorbing the power released by Xian Yun's body and repairing the 2 stone slabs. She repaired them very well, and also recorded the 2 sacred tier dragon totems. Furthermore, Mo also recorded the runes inside the Great Dragon's sacred cannon. While cultivating before, Qin Yun asked Siekaru about the Great Dragon's sacred cannon. Siekaru said that it is not suitable for him to use because it consumes a lot of sacred power and requires a lot of sacred Xian silver crystals. The remaining power of the divine pill is not much. Qin Yun ended his cultivation and went out with Xian Yinyun to see the situation outside. After he went out, he saw Li Longxian walking back and forth outside. The sky is still dusky. Longxian sect. What is the situation like now? Qin Yun asked. Evil Sun race still haven't attacked. After they obtained their own territory, they sent a large amount of manpower and resources over. They have more than 10 of those evil Sun sacred dragons. Li Longxian said in deep voice. Chapter 1536. Bloodlust Qin Yun took out the 2 stone tablets and handed them over to Li Longxian. He said, I have finished the bright and dark runes. These are 2 complete sacred tier dragon totems. Li Longxian was very excited after receiving it. I'm temporarily unable to fuse these 2 sacred tier dragon totems. Qin Yun slightly sighed and said, because my cultivation is too low. Not only was his cultivation low, but his mysterious fusion heavenly rune could not be improved. He felt that he must find Yi Yaoxue. Yi Yaoxue has the mysterious fusion heavenly rune martial spirit. Even if she has not cultivated the saint tier mysterious fusion heavenly rune, she is almost there. It's all right, it's all right. Li Longxian looked at the 2 stone slabs. He was so excited that his voice trembled. Qin Yun pulled Xian Yinyun out as they looked at the sky outside. Far away in the dusky sky, there was a huge black shadow. That black shadow was the huge evil Sunday. Xie Yang of the Xie Yang race really appeared in the Flood Dragon Desolate domain. Qin Yun frowned. That's Xie Yang. How is it formed? Li Longxian put away the 2 stone slabs and said in a stern manner, Senior, you can think of a nether sun as a very powerful divine tool. Moreover, it can cross space. Xian Yinyun whispered, just like that ship of yours? Li Longxian nodded, that's right. However, it is much bigger than my ship, and the space inside is also much bigger. It can store a lot of energy and items. Furthermore, he could even create some demon slave warriors. Those Xie Yang saint dragons were created by Xie Yang. I see, Qin Yun said. Within Xie Yang, are there any deities or saints? Li Longxian shook his head. No, they have to abide by the space rules of the Great Dragon Barren Domain. Now that Xie Yang has appeared in the Great Dragon Barren Domain, there can't be anyone stronger here, or else the space in the Great Dragon Barren Domain will crack open and squeeze Xie Yang out. Qin Yun smiled and said, does that mean I can destroy Xie Yang too? Li Longxian was shocked. He nodded and said, that's possible, but it's rather difficult. After all, Xie Yang is a huge defensive divine weapon forged by many powerful gods. There are a total of 9 CS suns. They brought 1 to Great Dragon Desolate Domain. It seems like the head of a mortal desolate sacred master is very important to them. Qin Yun said with smile, I might be able to stab that CS sun down. Qin Yun feels that his floating cloud staff is not weak. If the floating cloud staff is not enough, he still has the 9 sun divine hammer. The corner of Li Longxuan's mouth twitched slightly. He was secretly impressed by this old ancestor floating cloud. He actually wanted to stab that Xie Yang down, saying it as if he was poking a bird's nest. We'll talk about it later. In short, those guys will come looking for trouble with me sooner or later. I won't let them off, Qin Yun said. Now that he was a golden immortal, he had enough power. He needed to hurry to the Death Mountain evil jungle with Xian Yinyun. Old Li, go back to Inscription World first. Qin Yun said, my floating cloud's heavenly mountain is very stable. That Xie Yang won't be able to destroy it. Senior, why don't I stay for a while longer? Li Longxian asked in a low voice. No need, no need. Qin Yun smiled and said, all right, I will go back to Inscription World first. Senior, if you go to Inscription World, please use this to contact me. Li Longxian handed over a square mirror to Qin Yun. Magic mirror? Qin Yun is secretly startled. Inscription World actually uses this kind of thing. Isn't it very similar to Immortal Desolate's magic mirror? Actually, our Inscription World already used it. Of course, Immortal Desolate's magic mirror is much stronger and bigger, but I heard that it seems to have lost effectiveness. I don't know the reason. Li Longxian said. Qin Yun always wanted to repair Immortal Desolate's magic mirror and gain new information about Immortal Desolate. This way, he would be able to gather the power of Immortal Desolate and fight against Xieyang race and other Outer Realm factions, even Immortal and Devil Immortal Heavenly Gate. All right, I will go to Inscription World. I will definitely contact you, Qin Yun said. He feels that his past life, Immortal King Floating Cloud, must have gone to Inscription World. Senior, I will take my leave. Li Longxian is very excited now because he has grasped the precious sacred Tear Dragon Totem. After returning to the Li family, his status will definitely rise. Old Li, when you go back, remember not to hand over 2 sacred Tear Dragon Totem in one go, Qin Yun said with a smile. Handing over one will allow your status to rise. You must keep it small for a long time. Li Longxian nodded and said, Many thanks for Senior's reminder. He jumped onto the large ship and flew away from Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain. He went to a place where the space is weak and passed through space to return to Inscription World. Xian Yinyun said with a smile, Big brother, this Old Li really respects you now. Little Yinyun, this is how awesome Big Brother is. So you don't need to be afraid of that Xieyang race. Qin Yun said with a smile. And Xian Yinyun shook Qin Yun's arm. Her face is filled with sweet smile and said, Big brother, when are we going to Death Mountain Evil Forest? Qin Yun shouted toward the stone building in the distance. Hua Tongan. Hua Tongan immediately came out of the stone building. Back then he was saved by Qin Yun, and now he knows that Qin Yun is old ancestor Floating Cloud. Therefore, he is incomparably respectful towards Qin Yun. Old ancestor, just call me Senior. Qin Yun said with a smile, I am preparing to go to Death Mountain Evil Forest. You went there before, so you should be very familiar with it, right? Hua Tongan escaped from death before. It can be said that he has been reborn from the ashes. Now he has broken through to Golden Immortal and cultivated the legendary Great Dragon Golden Body. His future prospects are limitless. And I am very familiar with it. I am willing to follow Senior into Death Mountain Evil Forest. Hua Tongan said. He is secretly astonished because he sensed that Qin Yun and Xian Yinyun are both Golden Immortals. And Xian Yinyun is a second stage Golden Immortal. Let's go to Great Dragon Mountain first. Qin Yun said, took out a set of sacred tier armor, a sacred saber, and handed them over to Hua Tongan. Qin Yun attacked Sun Altar before and obtained some sacred tier armors and sacred weapons. They're all a bit damaged, but they're still very useful. Hua Tongan is extremely excited and immediately thanked Qin Yun. Soon after, Qin Yun brought Hua Tongan and Xian Yinyun and flew towards Great Dragon Mountain. Qin Yun returned the Red Dragon Cannon to Hong Gang, then met with Old Man Song. After greeting him, he left for Death Mountain Evil Forest. Qin Yun told Hong Gang that there is no need to pay attention to Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain. They should just guard their own territory. Because Xieyang race cannot break through Floating Cloud Heavenly Mountain's barrier. Hua Tongan also obtained a flying cloak. He is originally a tall and sturdy middle-aged man. Now he is wearing black armor and cloak. He looks very majestic. Xian Yinyun also felt a lot relieved seeing Hua Tongan come along. She knows that Hua Tongan is very strong. Xian Yinyun and Hua Tongan used to be disciples of the Sangshuan sect. Back then, Hua Tongan took good care of Xian Yinyun. Uncle Hua, first bring Big Brother to Great Dragon Pool. He is very interested in it. Xian Yinyun lightly shouted. All right, Hua Tongan said with a smile. Little girl, I was stronger than you before, but now your cultivation is very high. You are much stronger than me. This is all because Big Brother helped me. Xian Yinyun revealed a smile and said, Senior, Great Dragon Pool situation is rather complicated. Sieyang race wanted to forcibly occupy it before. I haven't been there for a while. I don't know what the situation is like. Hua Tonggan said, but don't worry. No one can stop us from going to Great Dragon Pool. Qin Yun asked, do the disciples of the three great sects often go to Great Dragon Pool? Xian Yinyin shook her head and said, very few go because many people are unable to endure the great dragon blood and died inside. Hua Tonggan suddenly increased his speed, flew in front, and said, only little girl, and I can endure the berserk great dragon blood. They set off from Great Dragon Mountain, and Great Dragon Mountain is very close to Great Dragon Pool. Flying in the air, they will arrive very soon. Hua Tonggan is flying in front because he wants to see the situation ahead. Evil Yang race's people are all very strange. They can endure the berserk power of the flood dragon blood, and they even look very comfortable. Hua Tonggan cursed in a low voice. Those guys must be using the flood dragon blood to cultivate evil arts. Hua Tonggan was tricked by Sieyang race people before, so he hates them very much. Is the water in the Great Dragon Pool filled with great dragon blood? Qin Yun asked. I heard that there's a small stream flowing out of the Death Mountain Evil Forest. There's a lot of great dragon blood flowing out. I'm also not sure if it's great dragon blood or not. In short, it can make the body very strong. Hua Tonggan said. Qin Yun asked Siekaru before. She has never heard of this great dragon pool. It should have appeared later. Qin Yun suddenly felt that the great dragon pool is related to the immortal, desolate, sacred master's head. Xiao Yun, after checking the great dragon pool, try to open the fifth pearl of the nine-sun divine spirit. Open the fifth pearl, and then enter the Death Mountain Evil Forest. If you find the head of the immortal, desolate, sacred master, put it in the fifth pearl. Not long after, Qin Yun saw the Death Mountain Evil Forest. There's a large area in front of him that is shrouded in black fog. From time to time, muffled thunder can be heard and all kinds of lightning can be seen flickering. The Death Mountain Evil Forest is very big. From far away, it looks like it covers a large area. And outside the Death Mountain Evil Forest, there is a weak red light shooting up from the ground into the sky. Because the three suns are covered, the heaven and earth are very dark. As long as there is light, it is very easy to see. There are dozens of big and small great dragon pools. They are all connected together. Hua Tonggan pointed at the area in front of him that is emitting red light. Xing Yun said, those big and small pools are all huge pits formed after the battle. There are Sieyang race people in front. Qin Yun said in low voice, let's land and walk over. All right. Hua Tonggan immediately landed on the ground and took out the red sacred saber Qin Yun gave him. Xian Yun also took out the sword Qin Yun gave her and entered combat mode. Qin Yun held the floating cloud rod and said in low voice, I can sense a lizard dragon here. Hua Tonggan cursed in low voice. Not good. Those Sieyang race people want to let the lizard dragon drink the great dragon blood. Let's go kill that dragon. Don't let those Sieyang race people succeed, Qin Yun excitedly said. Chapter 1537. Dragon Pool Mysterious Secrets. Qin Yun and company are at the waist of a small mountain. Not far away, the giant lizard dragon suddenly sensed something and discovered that there are people nearby. The giant lizard dragon's head is in the great dragon pool and drinking the great dragon blood. After discovering Qin Yun and company, it immediately raised its head and looked over. We've been discovered, Hua Tonggan said in low voice. Senior, I will go over first and see how many Sieyang race people there are and what their cultivation levels are. After Hua, Tonggan became a golden immortal. His strength became even stronger. Adding the great dragon golden body, his body is almost indestructible. As long as he is not attacked by something like soul-burning poison, he will not lose. Hua Tonggan rushed over and brandished his saber at the group of people. The giant lizard dragon let out an unpleasant roar, and at this time, a large group of people rushed over from all directions. Sieyang race bastards are truly many, Qin Yun said in low voice. Little Nin Yun, I will go deal with that dragon. You help Hua Tongan deal with the other Xie race people. You have to be careful. If you can't beat them, quickly run. And, big brother, you also have to be careful. Xian Yin nodded and said. Soon after, Qin Yun used invisibility technique and rushed over with Xian Yin. At this time, Hua Tongan is also surrounded by more than 20 powerful Xie race warriors. Fortunately, only a few of them are golden immortals. The rest are all ninth-stage Dao immortals. Xian Yin rushed over and charged into the crowd with her sword in hand and began fighting with the Xie race warriors. Hua Tongan created 2 avatars to deal with those ninth-stage Dao immortals, while his main body focused on dealing with those powerful golden immortals. Seeing that Xian Yin can deal with them, Qin Yun felt relieved and rushed towards the giant lizard dragon. Just as the giant lizard dragon was about to flap its wings and fly away, Qin Yun released supergravity. The giant lizard dragon, with a wingspan of more than 200 meters, just as it soared into the sky, it was pressed down by the gravity released by Qin Yun. Qin Yun jumped to the sky above the giant lizard dragon and smashed his palm down on the ground, releasing a very strong vibration power. The vibration wave rushed down from the sky and landed on the giant lizard dragon's body. The colossal lizard dragon had only just stood up when it was sent crashing to the ground by the shockwave. Blood gushed out of its mouth. The giant lizard dragon, just swallowed of great dragon blood, was now vomited out. This guy is really weak. Qin Yun feels that the difference between the giant lizard dragon here and the evil Sun Saint dragon he met in the Heart Yang realm is too great. He took out his floating cloud staff. Under his control, the floating cloud staff suddenly became very long and fiercely landed on the long neck of the lizard dragon. Boom! The golden immortal power condensed in the floating cloud staff burst out, flashing with blinding golden light. That fierce aura was like thousands of thunderbolts sweeping through the world. The long neck of the colossal lizard dragon was directly smashed into pieces by the long staff. Large amounts of black flesh splattered into the distance like a falling boulder, filling the air with evil energy. The people of the Xie race all shouted out angrily. The Xie Saint Dragon was very important to them, as it could bring them flying in the Flood Dragon Desolate domain. But now its neck was broken by someone, and its huge head was still in the Flood Dragon pool. What shocked Qin Yun is that although the giant lizard dragon's head is gone, its body can still fly. Furthermore, it is frantically struggling and erupting with a very strong, evil power. That's more like it. Qin Yun sensed that the colossal lizard dragon is about to unleash its might. He sneered in his heart. The long floating cloud staff in his hand fell down again and hit one of its wings. Bang! Fierce golden immortal power shook and spread out. The wing has been broken. Although the colossal lizard dragon is struggling, it can no longer fly because its wing has been broken. Qin Yun jumped up and crazily smashed the staff in his hand down. He used vibration immortal power. Every time the staff smashed down, the earth would violently tremble and the water in the nearby flood dragon pool would splash. The people of the Xie race are now fighting with Xian Yin and Hua Tongan. They can't stop Qin Yun at all. Those ninth stage Dao immortals have all been killed. Only a few golden immortals are left. Although they have a few golden immortals, they are completely suppressed by Xian Yin and Hua Tongan. What caused the people of the Xie race to be alarmed is that Qin Yun's staff has become longer and thicker. It is constantly smashing the colossal lizard dragon's body. The colossal lizard dragon's body is very sturdy. It is covered in a layer of thick armor, but now it is being smashed into meat paste by the staff. One end of the floating cloud staff in Qin Yun's hand is very thin. He is holding in his hand. The other end is very thick. It is like a huge pillar. The effect of hitting the colossal lizard dragon's body is very good. An elder of the Xie race said angrily, "Are you people? I am Qin Yun, the person your Xie race wants to kill. Now that I have come to your door, is this how you welcome me?" Qin Yun said with a chuckle, then turned the floating cloud staff back to its normal size. You're Qin Yun? That Xie race elder's face is filled with fear. The Xieyang race had already given them a mission to capture Qin Yun as long as they had the chance. Now that they have met Qin Yun, they don't have enough power to deal with him. Just as the elder was distracted, Hua Tonggen's saber fell down and cut off the elder's arm. Then, Qin Yun used the light transformation sacred pupil to pierce through and smash the elder's body. Following a burst of golden flames, the elder's body turned into flames that splattered in all directions. His body that is filled with evil power was directly destroyed. Are these guys all fragile? Qin Yun curled his lips and said, just now, Hua Tonggen also felt the power of the staff and is extremely shocked in his heart. He is very clear that the Xieyang race people are not fragile. It is just that Qin Yun's power is too terrifying. Qin Yun used the lightning lock's sacred pupil and shot out some lightning. The lightning that flew out tied up the bodies of the few Xieyang race golden immortals. At this moment, Xian Yun also stopped and handed it over to Hua Tonggen and Qin Yun. The Xieyang race people are all extremely afraid. They just came to the Great Dragon Desolate Domain not long ago and killed many people. So they felt that the people of the Great Dragon Desolate Domain are very weak. But now, the three people they met are all stronger than them. The remaining few Xieyang race golden immortals didn't even have time to cry out before they were killed by Qin Yun and Hua Tonggen. Qin Yun took out the soul-sealing pearl and quickly drew in all the remnant souls. Hua Tonggen said, "It seems like the Great Dragon Pool is very useful to the Xieyang race people. Could it be that they have mastered a method to use the Great Dragon Blood? Big brother, the Xieyang race scoundrels have done many evil things in the Great Dragon Desolate Domain and killed many people. If they become stronger through the Great Dragon Blood, they will do even more evil things." Xian Yun said, "The natives of the Great Dragon Desolate Domain don't need the Great Dragon Blood. Why don't we destroy the Great Dragon Pool and not let the Xieyang race scoundrels obtain it?" Hua Tonggen nodded and said, "I have the same idea as little girl. In the Great Dragon Desolate Domain, there is no method to use the Great Dragon Blood, but the Xieyang race can use it. Once the Xieyang race becomes stronger, it will be even more disadvantageous for us. Destroying the Great Dragon Pool is the best." Ling Yun suddenly said, "Xiao Yun, don't you have a bottle to store beast oil? That bottle can store many liquids. Take it out and put the Great Dragon Blood in it." "That's right. The Great Dragon Blood is a fire attribute item, and the quality of the beast oil is too low. After coming to the Immortal Desolate, it is not very useful. If it is mixed with the Great Dragon Blood, it might evolve." Qin Yun is very happy in his heart. He immediately took out the small black bottle. Previously, this small bottle could only be poured out. It was very difficult to put liquid in. But after all these years, Qin Yun has completely refined this small bottle, so he can quickly fill a large amount of liquid inside. No need to destroy the Great Dragon Pool. I will take away the Great Dragon Blood. Qin Yun mischievously laughed, then arrived beside a Great Dragon Pool and pointed the mouth of the bottle towards the pool of Great Dragon Blood. He controlled the small bottle to produce a suction force. What caused Qin Yun to be alarmed is that the mouth of the small bottle suddenly became very big. It is like a water jar. Hua, hua, hua. A large amount of Great Dragon Blood fiercely rushed into the small bottle. In just a short while, the Great Dragon Pool has been sucked dry. There are still many pools here. Let's drain the other small and medium Great Dragon Pools, and then go to the largest main pool. Hua Tonggen said with a smile, "The Great Dragon Blood must be very useful. It would be best if we can take it away." Soon after, Qin Yun and Xian Yun went to drain the small and medium Great Dragon Pools. Hua Tonggen patrolled the surroundings to prevent any sneak attack from Xieyang race. Less than half a day later, all the large and small Great Dragon Pools have been drained. Only the main pool is left. This main pool is very big. It is several hundred meters wide and very deep. There is a small red river flowing out of the Death Mountain Evil Forest. A large amount of Great Dragon Blood is flowing out of the Death Mountain Evil Forest. Qin Yun pointed the mouth of the bottle at the largest Great Dragon Pool and began sucking out the water inside. There's a lot of great dragon blood here. It might take a lot of time. Qingyun said, Big brother, great dragon blood is very strange. Is it really dragon blood? Xian Yinyan squatted beside the pool and looked at the red dragon blood. Little Yinyan, did you come to the largest great dragon pool to cultivate? Qingyun asked. I never came here. I cultivated in the small pool. Uncle Hua might have come here before. Xian Yinyan slightly shook her head. I heard that the largest great dragon pool is also the most dangerous. Qingyun waved his hand toward Hua Tonggan, telling him to fly over. Hua Tonggan immediately flew over and asked, Senior, do you have any instructions? Hua Tonggan, have you ever entered this large pool to cultivate? Qingyun asked. I came here once. I almost died here. Hua Tonggan's face is also filled with fear. He looked at the great dragon pool with grave expression and said in deep voice, It is very safe beside the pool, but if you soak in this pool, it will be very dangerous. Ah, Uncle Hua, is there some kind of monster in this pool? Xian Yinyan promptly took out her sword and vigilantly looked at the surface of the pool. Hua Tonggan's thick eyebrows are tightly knitted. He nodded his head, but then shook his head. This largest great dragon pool is indeed somewhat strange, but I'm not sure if there's a monster or something else inside. If we can drain it, we might be able to see the bottom of the pool. This largest great dragon pool. Maybe there's something good hidden underneath. Qingyun said with mischievous laugh. Although he is laughing, his hand is tightly holding the floating cloud rod. He is secretly nervous in his heart. Chapter 1538. Mysterious Dragon Tooth. Chapter 1538. Mysterious Dragon Tooth. Xianyin lightly bit her red lips. She is staring at the tranquil pond. She is somewhat worried and also somewhat nervous. She firmly held her sword and poured in golden immortal power, causing the sword body to overflow with faint golden mist. If something suddenly comes out of the pond, she can immediately attack. Qingyun and Hua Tonggan were equally tense. They were wary of the thing beneath the largest flood dragon pool. If there's truly a monster below, it will surely jump out when the pond is drained. Senior, I will go over there. We will split up. It will also be easier to attack. Hua Tonggan said, and then walked to the other side. Qingyun said to Xian Yinyan, Xian Yinyan, you also go to the other side. If something attacks me, attack from the side. Brother, I am worried that you won't be able to handle it. Xian Yinyan said in low voice. It's all right, I can handle it. Qingyun said with smile. Xian Yinyan can only nod her head and walk away a bit. Because the pond is continuously flowing out flood dragon blood, it can be quickly replenished. It will take a period of time to drain it. Qingyun thought for a moment and walked to the side of the stream. He made the small bottle's enlarged mouth face the stream and the pool. This way, the small bottle will be able to absorb the flood dragon blood from the pond and the small stream. Senior, your small bottle is very awesome. It is not full even after filling so much flood dragon blood. Hua Tonggan said. I also don't know when it will be full. Qingyun said with smile. There is a large amount of beast oil inside the small bottle. After the flood dragon blood entered, it fused with the beast oil and began devouring the beast oil. After the flood dragon blood entered the small bottle and fused with the beast oil, it underwent a great transformation. Because the flood dragon blood is devouring the beast oil, it doesn't take up much space because there's a lot of beast oil. Where is this flood dragon blood coming from? How can there be so much of it? Qingyun looked at the thick red liquid flowing out of the small stream. He became more and more amazed. He thought that this flood dragon blood is just red water, but now it seems like it contains very dense energy. He carefully studied it, but he cannot confirm that it is dragon blood. Qingyun has seen dragon blood before. He is very familiar with it. However, the flood dragon blood inside the pond is somewhat different from true dragon blood. There's a hint of dragon blood's aura, but it's not completely dragon blood. What is it? Qingyun was puzzled. Hua Tonggan said, Senior, I often enter the Death Mountain Evil Jungle. I followed the stream several times, but after walking for a while, I encountered a very strong monkey, so I didn't dare to go in again. Are there many powerful beasts in Death Mountain, Evil Jungle? Asked Qin Yun. Not only are there powerful mortal beasts, there are also many other messy things. I heard that there are also some savages. Hua Tonggan said. In short, there are many different kinds of dangerous things in the Dead Mountain Evil Forest. Can you really find a lot of instant space, immortal metal inside? Asked Qin Yun. Yes, they're all iron ores. In a deeper place, you can indeed find quite a few, but it is more dangerous. In short, every time I go in, I am prepared to die. Hua Tonggan said. Uncle Hua, what is the most powerful thing in the Death Mountain Evil Jungle? Have you encountered it before? Xian Yun asked. The most powerful thing is a group of beasts. I encountered a group of monkeys before and was almost tormented to death. Those monkeys are very naughty. They were not in a hurry to kill me. They just toyed with me. Luckily, I escaped. Otherwise, I would have been toyed to death. Hua Tonggan said with lingering fear. Qin Yun is actually not worried because he has Floating Cloud Pagoda. If he encounters danger, he only needs to take out Floating Cloud Pagoda and hide inside. Qin Yun and others are standing beside the largest flood dragon pool. After being nervous for more than half a day, they finally relaxed a bit because the flood dragon pool is still very calm. It is still not drain dry. There is so much flood dragon blood in this pool. Hua Tonggan looked at the sky and said, It is getting dark. It is now evening because the sky is shrouded by black, evil energy. The sky has become very dark. That Xie Yang is the true sun. There is no sunset to look at. Xian Yun lightly sighed and said, Xie Yang can continuously teleport Xie Yang warriors from other places. Maybe there will be devil slaves in the future. If we don't get rid of Xie Yang, Great Dragon Desolate Domain will never be peaceful. Qin Yun said. Hua Tonggan said with smile, Senior, if you find that mysterious head, maybe Xie Yang race will leave and that Xie Yang will also be taken away, right? No. If that is the case, Xie Yang race will send even more people to deal with me. They might even seal the entire Great Dragon Desolate Domain. Qin Yun said. Qin Yun has seen Xie Yang race's methods. He feels that if he wants to stabilize Great Dragon Desolate Domain, he must kill that Xie Yang. Nighttime, more than half of the Flood Dragon Pool's Flood Dragon blood has been drained. The thick red liquid is releasing faint red light. It looks very demonic in the night. Little Yun, are you afraid? Qin Yun asked. I'm not afraid. I want to protect Big Brother. Xian Yun looked at Qin Yun with a smile and said, Big Brother, I am not a little girl now. I am a very strong, golden immortal. Qin Yun said with a smile, and Little Yun, if something really comes out, you should also pay more attention to yourself. During the night, Qin Yun did not stop extracting the great dragon blood. Hua Tonggan and Xian Yun thought that the night is the most dangerous time, so they are very vigilant. However, the night passed by. It is still very calm. Dawn arrived. Although the sky is gloomy, it is not as oppressive as the night. There is no danger. Am I being too sensitive? Qin Yun said with a smile. This is the largest great dragon pool. Now there's not much left. Are we going to see the bottom soon? Qin Yun said with frown. Everyone pay attention. I feel something down there. Xian Yun and Hua Tonggan's expression suddenly became grave and serious. They both looked down at the bottom of the pool. Voila! Something is jumping out of the shallow great dragon blood. Moreover, there are a lot of them. Be careful. These things are very fast. Qin Yun shouted in alarm. Xian Yun released her golden immortal power and formed a barrier to protect herself. Then she waved her sword. Sword images flew out like a gale and rushed towards the bottom of the pool. The whistling sword wave brought along swift and fierce golden immortal power. After rushing down, all the things that are jumping out of the pool are pushed back. However, many of those things are vigorously jumping out of the pool. Hua Tonggan also promptly brandished the large saber in his hand and hacked at those things. What is that? Qin Yun did not attack because Xian Yun and Hua Tonggan could deal with it. He carefully looked at the things that are jumping out and discovered that they look like a kind of bug. It is a very large bug, Its body is like a cow. Its mouth is round. It is as big as a wash basin. It has many sharp teeth. It looks like a capstan. This kind of bug's body is blood red. Moreover, it is very tough and durable. Although there are no scales on the surface, after being hacked by the saber, its body was not cut into pieces, it was just bounced back. Qin Yun released super gravity and pressed those bugs down to the bottom of the pool. Then he continued extracting the great dragon blood. While extracting the great dragon blood, they saw something appear at the bottom of the pool. It is a few huge golden things. Dragon teeth. Moreover, they are the teeth of a very strong dragon. Ling Yun shouted in alarm. Those things want to eat dragon teeth. Qin Yun is apprehensive. Dragon teeth gradually appeared. There are a total of 5. They're more than 10 meters long, curved, their surface is golden. Moreover, they are very glossy and shiny. There are many of these strange bugs. Qin Yun said to Xian Yinyan, Little Yinyan, use piercing heavenly fingers space breaking finger and insert the finger power into the insides of these monsters. All right. Xian Yinyan promptly used space breaking finger. Boom, boom, boom. Burst of muffled sound burst out from the insides of many strange bugs, and then they died. There are more than 100 strange bugs because their defense is very strong. It is very difficult to kill them by attacking the surface, so they can only attack from the inside. At this time, Qin Yun also drained the great dragon pool, used space-breaking finger, and killed those strange bugs together with Xian Yinyan. Qin Yun used his formidable mental power to control the 5 huge golden dragon teeth, to float up, and then stored them inside the 9-sun divine soul. I did not expect that there would be dragon teeth here. Moreover, they are very strong. Qin Yun exclaimed in admiration and said, It might be the dragon teeth of a sacred dragon. Hua Tonggan is extremely alarmed. He sighed and said, These strange bugs are truly formidable. When I was soaking in here, I must have been entangled by their tentacles. If I fell into their mouth, I would have definitely died. Don't tell me these strange bugs want to eat the dragon teeth, but they can't be destroyed, Qin Yun said with a smile. I did not expect that there would be such formidable dragon teeth inside the great dragon pool. Qin Yun continued using the small bottle to absorb the great dragon blood flowing out of the small stream. The small stream is still flowing out unceasingly. How long will this great dragon blood flow out? Qin Yun shook his head and smiled. If it continues to flow, I won't be able to handle it. His small bottle is filled with a lot of great dragon blood. It caused the beast oil to have a great change. As for what kind of change it will become, he is still not clear. Suddenly, the flow of the small stream gradually became smaller. Don't tell me that the small stream is flowing with great dragon blood to nourish those dragon teeth? Qin Yun said in amazement. Senior, this is the great dragon desolate domain. Those dragon teeth might be related to the legendary great dragon and the Death Mountain evil jungle. Hua Tonggan said. After Qin Yun took away the dragon teeth, the small stream also stopped flowing. Qin Yun put away the small bottle and said with frown, I wonder if the source of the small stream is related to the head of the immortal desolate sacred master. Big brother, are we going to go in soon? Xian Yinyan asked. She is also very curious about the mysterious Death Mountain evil jungle. Let's rest first. Qin Yun arrived at a flat area and took out the floating cloud pagoda. I don't need to rest. I will go patrol, Hua Tonggan said. Chapter 1539. Pill Transformation Heavenly Cauldron. Xie, Ninyun, and Qin Yun entered the floating cloud pagoda. Xian Yinyan rested on the first floor, while Qin Yun went to the 20th floor. Qin Yun took out the 9-sun divine soul and said in his heart, I don't know if I can open it with my current mental power. He secretly tested it and discovered that when his mental power seeped into the 9-sun divine soul's 5th pearl, he felt a very strong resistance. Although there is a very strong resistance, with his current mental power, he can still break through a bit. After testing for a while, he temporarily stopped. Yuner, should I take the risk and use my strongest mental power to break through? Qin Yun asked. After testing it just now, he felt that there's a very strong resistance. According to his estimation, it will not be easy to break through unless he goes all out. He is now a golden immortal. His mental power has become a lot stronger than before. If he can't break through the fifth pearl's resistance with his current mental power, then even if he advanced a few more realms, it would still be very difficult to break through. Only when crossing great realms can one's mental power increase by a lot. Xiao Yun, you rest first. After you recover enough mental power, you can break through in one go. If we find that mysterious head in the Dead Mountain Evil Jungle, we will need a special container to store it. The fifth pearl of a nine-sun divine soul is the best choice. Ling Yuner said, 4 of the 9-sun divine soul's pearls have been opened. There are other things inside, so it is not convenient to store the head. I will do my best. Qin Yun nodded and then looked at the small altar. Qin Yun used the small bottle to extract the flood dragon blood and consumed a lot of mental power, so his mental power is not at its peak. He needs to rest for a while to maintain his mental power at its peak. I wonder what is inside the fifth pearl. Qin Yun is very expectant in his heart. Not like that swindling little black donkey. Ling Yuner said with a smile, I wonder where Xiao He is. He is together with Azure Dragon, inside Nether Sect. Qin Yun laughed. The little black donkey is also not a swindler because it has helped Qin Yun a lot. Qin Yun finds it strange that the little black donkey is inside the 9-sun divine soul. Moreover, it is so strange. Yao Fong was inside the 9-sun divine soul before. Then the little black donkey appeared. He did not know if the fifth jewel would give birth to another living creature. Qin Yun is resting in the 20th floor of the floating cloud pagoda. He sent a sound transmission to Xian Yinyun, who is on the first floor. Xiao Yinyun, if there is something important or if Hua Tonggan is in danger, just let him enter this pagoda, Qin Yun said. Xian Yinyun is on the first floor. After hearing Qin Yun's voice, she asked, Big brother, are you going into secluded cultivation? It's not seclusion. I want to concentrate on something important and can't be disturbed. Qin Yun said, Don't worry. I will finish it very soon, and there won't be any danger. Okay, I got it. Xian Yun nodded. Qin Yun closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He secretly controlled the Needle Soul inside the Nether Moon. Needle Soul was a very strong state of mind. He planned to use the Nether Moon and Needle Soul later. I wonder what is the current situation in the Immortal Desolate. Qin Yun said in his heart, Has Yuame's Divine Inscription Mountain been attacked? That Divine Inscription Mountain attracts a lot of hatred because there are a large number of divine fruits on the mountain. And under the control of the mountain god, it can run around and devour other divine mountains. The divine mountains devoured by the Divine Inscription Mountain are all controlled by the great powers. It will be fine. There is Black Rat by Zay on top. Besides, Old Mountain is very strong. After all, he is an old antique from the previous era. Now he exists in a very special state. Ling Yuner is said with a smile. De Zhuang and Pippi Pig are also on top. There is also the great formation set up by the Shiman family. The Divine Inscription Mountain will definitely be very stable. Qin Yun said with a smile. The Divine Inscription Mountain has evolved into a Dao immortal level divine mountain. After Yuame and De Zhuang eat the divine fruit, they will definitely become Dao immortals very quickly. Ling Yun said, Xiao Yun, after you go out, immediately contact Xiao family Xiaohua. Let him take you to the inscription world to take a look. Qin Yun nodded and said with a smile. Xiaohua is also a member of my inscription gate. Qin Yun has long wanted to go to the inscription world. He suspects that in his previous life, he must have also been to the inscription world. At night, Qin Yun's mental power recovered to its peak. He took out the 9-sun divine spirit, gathered his mental power, and poured it into the fifth pearl. There seems to be a very strong barrier inside the fifth pearl of the 9-sun divine spirit. Mental power is unable to penetrate it. What makes Qin Yun feel the most difficult is that the barrier actually has a kind of resistance power that can rebound mental power. Is it really not possible? Qin Yun frowned and released the needle spirit into the fifth pearl. After the needle spirit entered, it immediately pierced through the barrier and entered quite a bit. Xiao Yun, you have to break that barrier. Ling Yun said, otherwise, only the needle spirit can enter. All right. Qin Yun strengthened his mental power and sent a large amount of mental power inside. Along with the needle spirit, he tore a small hole and entered, wanting to tear apart the barrier. Qin Yun said with a frown, it's really strange. Why are you stopping me from entering? Ling Yun said with a smile, maybe the thing inside has very high requirements for mental power. If your mental power is not strong enough, you might be injured by that thing. Is it a living thing? Qin Yun curled his lips. Maybe it's a great beauty? Ling Yun said with a smile. Xiao Yun, work harder. Needle spirit might not be able to do it. Let's go to the nether moon. Qin Yun is now only letting his mental power penetrate through the barrier along with the needle spirit. When it penetrates, it can tear a small hole in the barrier. Originally, Qin Yun thought that he could succeed, but the small hole actually gradually healed. What the hell? Qin Yun cursed in his heart. His face suddenly became serious, and a black nether moon appeared above his head. Under Qin Yun's control, the nether moon became very small and entered the fifth pearl of the nine-sun divine spirit. Go all out. Qin Yun clenched his fists and controlled the nether moon to rush into the fifth pearl. The needle spirit opened the way in front. After the nether moon entered, it followed behind the needle spirit and tore apart the thick barrier. What made Qin Yun alarmed is that the nether moon is also under a lot of pressure. It has to release a very strong mental power to tear apart the barrier. I must open the fifth pearl, Qin Yun said in his heart. Yin-er, let the nether sun release its power to support the nether moon. The mental power stored inside the nether moon is being consumed very quickly. It needs to be replenished or it will not be able to continue. Ling Yun, controlled the nether sun's power and released it into the nether moon. The nether moon absorbed the nether sun's power and quickly transformed it into mental power. Qin Yun held the string of nine-sun divine spirit in his hand and felt slightly trembling. After the power released by the nether sun was transformed into mental power by the nether moon, it suddenly burst out and tore apart a large barrier. This barrier is about to be destroyed. Qin Yun is extremely excited. Now that he can open the fifth pearl, there is no need to wait for the next great realm. What is inside? Ling Yun said with a smile. It would be best if there's a great beauty. I like beauties. Great beauty Yun. You are very beautiful yourself. Besides, why do you like beauties? Qin Yun shook his head and smiled. I just like beauties. Ling Yun laughed and said, one day, I will be able to leave your illusory space and become your woman. Is there really such a possibility? Qin Yun closed his eyes and can see Ling Yun's charming little face. Although Ling Yun is now a little fairy, if she grows up, she will definitely become a very charming and alluring fairy. Of course it's possible. Everything is possible. Ling Yun tenderly smiled and said, Xiao Yun, just wait for me to come out and serve you. You rogue fairy, really? Qin Yun speechlessly laughed. After the nether moon entered the fifth pearl of the nine-sun divine spirit, it absorbed the power of the nether sun. It can be said that the power it released is very strong. It pierced through layer upon layer of barriers and tore them apart. Finally, as the barrier continued to be broken, Qin Yun gradually saw the situation inside the fifth pearl of the nine-sun divine spirit. After Qin Yun clearly saw the situation inside, Ling Yun was very disappointed. Because there is no super great beauty like she imagined, there is only a grayish big water jar. The space inside the fifth pearl is very large. In the middle of the empty space, there's a very ugly big water jar floating. What is this thing? When Qin Yun heard Ling Yun sigh, he smiled and said, Great beauty in her. Maybe there's a beauty hidden inside the water jar. As Qin Yun spoke, he took out the grayish big water jar. The big water jar has a lid that reaches Qin Yun's waist. It is not a problem to put in a big man, let alone a delicate beauty. The lid is black. It looks like a very heavy iron. Qin Yun spent a lot of effort to open the lid. The big water jar is empty. There is nothing inside. There is no great beauty at all. Ling Yun sighed and said, "This time, even the little black donkey, a divine beast, is gone. This big water jar is really ugly. It must be a big fraud." "Not necessarily." Qin Yun said, "Let me drip my blood and see." After he dripped his blood, the big water jar suddenly trembled. Very quickly, information about this big water jar appeared in Qin Yun's mind. Dan transformation heavenly furnace? Qin Yun is alarmed and shouted, "Yun, this is a furnace." Ling Yun said, "Looks like it is not a fraud. But how can a furnace be the same as a big water jar?" "Forget it. This is a very powerful furnace." Qin Yun said with a smile, "Dan transformation heavenly furnace. As long as you put something inside, it can turn into a pill. It needs to consume the user's energy, and the consumption is also very large." Ling Yun said, "Can it turn anything into a pill? Is it really anything?" Qin Yun said with a smile, "If I put a piece of iron inside, can it also turn into a pill?" "Xiao Yun, put those instant void immortal iron ores inside." Ling Yun said. Qin Yun promptly took out the iron ores Niu Tianquan gave him and put them inside the Dan Transformation Heavenly Furnace. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.